New Year.
Happy New Year.
Cheers.
Happy New Year.
Let's just
We
omit
are
the
That was the
happy.
most unenthusiastic Happy New Year. I mean, is it?
I mean,
happy?
just the notion of happy, every time I had to say Happy New Year or somebody said Happy New Year to me,
Yeah.
I like,
Didn't feel right.
what does that mean? Happy. Am I happy? Are you happy? Are we all collectively happy?
I don't know, man.
I'm not happy.
I guess it depends on how you look at it, right? We're
Yeah.
COVID free. You know, we have a roof over our heads. You know, our families hopefully are COVID free. Everyone's healthy. So I guess on a baseline level, we're happy. But
So
Happy New Year just sounds so jovial. And who the fuck is jovial these days?
I'm just going to omit the happy part and just start telling people New Year.
Just New Year. Yeah, exactly. New Year, guys.
Yankee New Year.
Yeah.
New Year.
Oh,
Yeah.
Do you think people missed us the last 2 weeks?
I think not. I don't know.
I don't like to make those kind of assumptions.
They
No?
did. We got a lot of people in the chat saying, "Oh, Chris. Oh yeah, Chris is running late. He'll be on. He got caught in a snowstorm, so he said he'll be, I don't know what, 15 minutes late or something."
Chris didn't get caught in a snowstorm. He got caught in a janky snowstorm.
In a
janky
word of the
It's
day.
quite different. A regular snowstorm versus a janky snowstorm.
Yeah.
Sometimes Chris gets caught in a janky social media snowstorm.
Is this considered a janky year then?
Last year was pretty fucking janky. Yeah.
It's starting off that way. I mean, dude, we're only
I
7
wonder
days
what
in.
percentage of our global audience even knows what janky means. I mean, I didn't know what janky meant up until about 15 minutes ago.
What does it mean, Ali?
There
You
you
don't
go.
know that,
Matt,
Janky?
Matt, aka global audience. Participate.
Janky is like it
Just means like busted.
busted. Yeah,
Just
something
doesn't work, man.
Doesn't
It's
work.
janky.
Janky.
You're riding that janky bike every single day, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, janky.
Wheels
car.
not turning.
Matt, how does your back feel?
It's much better, thanks.
No, no, you got to say it feels janky.
It was incredibly janky. It was
janky.
It's janked up.
Yeah,
It's
there you go.
janked up, yeah. Are you janked up on meds right now or no?
No, and I'm actually I've been alcohol free for 7 days, so it's alcohol free beer for me.
Well,
well, cheers.
welcome back.
tonight. Yeah.
Cheers. I need to have my morning tea before I open up this beer, so
All good.
I
you
got to
that
say,
beer, yeah.
this punk IPA from Brewdog, from right here in Barcelona, is fucking delicious.
They brew it in Barcelona too?
And I bought this. They didn't give this to me, and they didn't tell me to say that. It's fucking delicious. Yeah, it's brewed in Barcelona.
Oh, nice. They got breweries all over the place now, I guess.
And I love all the little writing on the label. You know, United we stand for better beer.
Yeah.
Fiercely defiant and independent. Punk IPA postmodern classic. Brewdog.
Nice.
You know, they're saying all the right things.
Yeah. They're
how punk is it though?
DIY, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty punk.
And how's Barcelona, Alec? Has it?
I was in Ibiza for the last week.
And how was that? I mean, everything's. I guess it's been closed now for a long time. I mean, everything must be a bit dusty, right?
In Ibiza.
Yeah. Well, the hotels and everything all boarded up, I guess.
Yeah. It's quite janky over there. No, it's actually really relaxed. It's obviously there's nothing really going on. I mean, there's people having parties in their villas and things like that, but it was quite relaxing. I mean, I spent a week with a good friend of mine who moved there from Barcelona. He sold his business to his business partner, and rented his apartment out and decided just to start a new chapter in his life, and live out there surrounded by all that open space and nature. So it was really nice to like wake up every day to beautiful weather, go for hikes, you know, grill, barbecue every day, and just sit in front of a fireplace and watch movies. It was kind of like being in a ski lodge.
Nice.
You know, because it would get quite cold when the sun went down, and we would just make a fire and watch movies. So I was kind of off the grid the last week. I have no idea what's been going on in the news or in the music press. And I got back into town and yesterday, and then we had this janky thing that happened in Washington, D.C.
Your hood. That's your hood.
Which has launched my hood. Yeah, I live about 10 minutes from the Capitol building. But you got to admit, it's launched some of the most priceless memes I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So many just coming out nonstop. And like, it was like live. Like as I was watching, as I was watching it, I'm getting like memes sent to me. It's like people are just sitting there. Like I would think these meme creators have teams of people just making memes, and like who approves them? Do they just send them out and see what gets the most laughs?
I'm jealous. I'm quite jealous of these like I don't know what would you call them? Meme creators or whatever. Yeah, like they are so tuned and dialed in to the prospect of a meme that everything they watch or read could be a potential meme. So that's how they view the world, through that lens.
Yeah.
I never think like when something happens, I never think like of a meme. Like it doesn't pop into my head like, oh, fuck, this would be a hilarious meme.
But I think you've got to think that there's some people, Ali. I mean, there's some people that spend all their day on Facebook or Instagram. You know, that's their thing. Whether it's, you know, they've been furloughed or whether they're retired or whether they're just obsessed. But you know, they're the people that are doing it. You know.
Yeah, like what's that guy's name? Or Business Teshno, whatever his name is. Yeah, that guy. Yeah, he probably spends like what? How many hours a day do you think he spends on?
Maybe all day.
Social.
Yeah, maybe all day.
I mean,
Yeah,
you could just,
all day.
I mean, there's people that just look for, you know, anything that could, like you said, potentially be funny, and just like snap a picture of something and put some words on it. It's like, bam.
Yeah.
It's a new meme. Justin said that Universal bought a meme company for 80 million. What?
Yeah.
No way. Really?
That's crazy. Oh, man.
Wasn't like fuck Jerry was like a PR company, right? Or was it like a meme making machine? Fuck Jerry.
I just assumed they were just making memes. That's it. And that's how they got famous.
Yeah.
Like they're making tens of millions of dollars just by making these dumb little photos that everyone laughs at.
But man, there have been so many.
I'm in the wrong fucking business, man.
I know.
Jesus.
We need to get into the meme business.
It's funny because you have comedians, you know, like stand-up comedians that kind of talk shit about meme creators, saying that they're not real comedians. It's kind of funny.
Wow.
I don't know. I mean, I remember hearing that at some point.
What was the funniest one that you guys saw? The Jamiroquai one was
Yeah.
Emergency on Planet Earth, and then there was one that kind of broke down that one dude's who was wearing that crazy outfit.
Steal his look.
Yes.
That was a good one.
How many of you got these new truncate glasses?
Oh wow.
Represent.
Oh shit.
Nice.
I'm drinking out of a can right now, but okay.
I got my truncate glass collection going over here.
Wow.
Yeah, I made those over Christmas.
Have we, like, the show hasn't been memed, has it? By anyone?
It has.
It
Probably.
I've seen it on the there's this group on Facebook, the worst techno memes.
Yeah.
And
Oh, those idiots.
I can't remember what
That shit's fucking funny though, man.
It was like it was a screenshot of like us, and then it said something I can't remember, and you know, people were just roasting us in the comments. It was pretty funny. You know, you can laugh at yourself. I mean, I could.
I apologize, actually. I said idiots. I meant idiot, aka Dave Clark. I'm sorry, everyone. on the worst techno memes. I
saw
didn't mean to, yeah.
Someone was making a thread on Twitter about getting Dave Clark on the show and just having you guys-
Yeah.
Making a threat? What do you mean?
a thread.
Thread.
Oh, a thread. Oh,
So like you guys should have Dave Clark and have Ali and Dave go back and forth as to why. What
You guys are gonna end up best friends. For sure.
You're hugging.
the funny thing about him is, like, I used to tolerate him and we used to be friends, but you know, I learned once we fell out, I learned how much people actually hate the guy, and all the people that he thinks he's friends with talk so much shit about him and hate his guts so much that I have no idea why they try to maintain like a connection. I don't know. Maybe it's a techno thing.
I've never
Inquiring
met the
minds wanna
guy.
know.
Seems like a very outspoken person. He does go out on the limb and say shit that
Yeah.
I wish
Sometimes-
more artists would say.
Sometimes people would say, yeah.
You know,
I met him once briefly, so I don't know. I have nothing. I don't have anything against him, really.
Well, we should get him on the show.
But he does seem to spend a lot of time on social media. I think he spends literally all the day.
You think he
much.
would? If we asked him, do you think he would be down?
Probably.
Do any of you guys know him besides Ali?
I used to know him pretty well. I mean, he used to live in Brighton. I mean, now he's obviously living in Holland. But yeah, we can ask.
That should be their 1 year anniversary show.
That is a
With
show.
Dave Clark, the showdown. Like it'd just be Ali and Dave on screen, and it will just be our screens off.
Yeah, it wouldn't be very entertaining. It would just, like, people would tune out. It'd be boring.
Well,
what like, how did you guys feel watching the, like, I should ask Matt that actually, because, you know, you're English, living in Berlin. What was your initial reaction when you heard about what happened and then you saw the footage?
Well, yesterday,
This
I
is
mean,
America.
I was glued to it because my wife's obsessed with American politics. So, and I mean, I think as with everywhere you read, literally everyone was saying, "What do you expect?" So, I mean, I've been actually like
Oh my God.
changing the subject, but I mean, my week's been mostly spent with the whole Brexit ordeal. And how we're not going to be able to sell our records in Europe anymore.
What?
Or the prices for shipping have gone through the roof, and et cetera, et cetera. But like a box of records that did cost €20 to send to Hardwax from the UK is now like €97.
Wow.
Whoa.
So
So-
Matt, there was I don't know what, like, artists were kind of left off of this group of people that were, you know, not required to obtain like visas.
Yeah, I believe as well that if you're talking about Blow-On, that I think actually he was one of the people who was actually, I mean, I know him pretty well, but apparently he was one of the DJs that was criticizing plague raves, and then of course went to Ukraine to do a rave. In a
but
plague.
he did a legal event, so
Yeah,
we can't-
legal event, but still, I mean, we're in lockdown here in Berlin, and I mean, you know, I think it's the club in question in Kiev is one of the only clubs open at the moment.
Where did he play? Closer?
It's this other, I think, so the other club. It's just a symbol. It's like a weird sign. But yeah, I mean, and I think because due to Brexit and the restrictions, but still, I mean, we're in lockdown here.
Yeah, but I think someone like Blow-On, he's such a badass fucking producer that in my book he gets a pass.
Yeah. Well, Dave doesn't.
Dave is like a 3-hit wonder.
Wow.
Red 1, 2, 3, and like maybe there's 2 other songs that he did. Okay, Dave's a 5-hit wonder, and not even a wonder, like a 5-hit has been.
I think
First
he's
time-
Blawan is a fucking genius producer.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it was maybe a little bit short-sighted. Maybe it's the agent's fault, you know, with him going there. But
I think everybody kind of knows what they're stepping into these days.
yeah, no, this is the thing. I spoke about it with friends and colleagues, and all of us agreed that we'd take the gig, you know. And I think this is one of the things that if you do put yourself out there and you you're doing gigs or you accept an offer now, then maybe you are open to criticism, but at least
Definitely.
I don't know, go and do it. Just get
But
on with
wait,
it.
does he live in Berlin or in the UK?
He lives in Berlin, but I've no understanding of his residency or you know.
Is he still stuck over there? Is he still
No idea. I think
You
it's
know
one of those
what?
things. It was on the internet for one day, and now it's, of course, with everything else, it's been forgotten. So maybe he's still there. Maybe he can jump on and tell us.
I still feel like I'm the only person here who wouldn't take the gig, though. I mean,
Right.
I've been offered gigs, and I don't even want to risk my own fucking life to go out and play shows right now.
Yeah.
Maybe
You know
I'm
what?
overly
Kiev
paranoid.
is worth it.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
kill
Possibly.
you stuck in Kiev.
Possibly, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I,
I mean,
think
it
I have
seems
too
like-
much. I think I have too much to lose to put that.
Yeah, I mean,
risk
you're a
out.
family man, dude. So,
I'm a family man, and I'm also high risk. You know, I mean,
yeah.
so I'm not necessarily the healthiest person on this panel. That's for sure.
I mean, it seems like a lot of the music industry from Berlin are now working at vaccination centres, which seems to be the new thing. I know some guys from Berghain are working there. My wife's actually starts on Monday.
What are they doing?
She's working at the vaccination centre. One of them is at Tegel. So there's a lot of
Wow.
people getting jobs. Like Daniel Wang's there. There's loads of people we know.
Oh wow.
So, which is good.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
cool.
if you're gonna get a job like that, that's good. You're helping people out and stuff.
Yeah.
Is it a paid job or is it like
It's
involuntary?
really super well paid, but I mean, it's of course it's for only for I think until they're saying it will run to April, but I mean in the UK they're saying to only vaccinate the over 60-year-olds is going to take a year.
Mm.
Wow. Well,
So, and I think in Germany they
what does
haven't
that mean
got
for the rest of us?
Yeah.
I know in California the vaccination is going really slow, like a lot slower than they projected.
Right.
Apparently, it has to do with logistics. So
Yeah. I mean, in
It's probably-
Berlin,
it'll probably be next year before we could get vaccinated.
Hey, Matt, can you say that for everyone that thinks they're going to go back to partying this season in Ibiza? Can you say that one more time?
what about the vaccinations? I mean, yeah, they're saying.
Say it one more time.
Well, they're saying in the UK that it's going to take a year to vaccinate just the over 60-year-olds. So, and if you think how large Germany is, Germany's actually, they didn't buy enough vaccinations. They're now in, I think Angela Merkel's in talks with Putin about buying the Russian version.
No way.
So,
Oh, Jesus.
yeah.
I guess-
2021 is not going to be any better. I knew it.
But I think, I mean,
know-
maybe by the summer. I mean, in Berlin, we there were parties in October. I mean, if things can get a little bit easier, then we can have these social distancing things, and maybe it's going to come back. And I know they did a testing party, didn't they, in Barcelona recently with 500 guests or something, where they were testing on the day. So there are companies who are trying at least, but of course, in the grand scheme of things, I don't think we'll be traveling. That's the problem.
I don't like to be the Debbie Downer and have to bring everything down by any means, but all year people have been coming up and saying, "Oh, I hope that 2021 is going to be a better year than 2020." It can't be. It can't possibly be a better year. I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
It's gonna be
especially
jankier.
people. I think anyone who truly believes that is being overly optimistic in a sense where
Oh, I thought it was going to be Dave Clark. Oh, it's Chris.
Finish your thought.
Okay, I shouldn't do this. I should. Do you guys hear me at all?
I hear you.
Great. New Year to y'all.
Yeah.
New Year, everyone.
New Year.
Mo was in the middle of finishing his thought. Sorry.
I know. I was interrupting. First of all, I'm really sorry I'm late for first show in the new year, but there was a snowstorm on the way and I was driving for 3 hours. And secondly, what the fuck does jinx mean? What?
Janky.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I was listening to you guys, so I know everything just up till now. And I just grabbed one of my last 2 beers in the fridge because I haven't been in here, and it's still cold in here too. I haven't been in here for 3 weeks, I think.
Before I finish my thought, I'll
Yeah.
say that this beer tastes like absolute shit.
It's janky.
It is by far the worst fucking beer I think I've ever had in my life. What is this, David?
It's a sour beer, dude.
Oh, it's terrible.
No. Sour beers are just for like super
It's for nerdy dudes
special
like
people.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
nerdy
who-
dudes can shove this shit up their ass for all I care. I'm drinking this shit. Fuck that.
Sorry, Mo.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Happy
Oh,
Cheers.
cheers
Good
here.
to
I'll
see
take
you
a
all
sip
again.
just for the
Back
sake,
together.
just for the sake of it.
Chris, would you
Sorry, Mo.
say that the snowstorm that you got caught in, which is the reason why you're late on the first show of 2021,
Yeah.
is because it was janky?
If you explain that word to me, I mean, you
That's why
tried
you're
early
late.
on. I was listening. You tried to explain it, but I still didn't get it.
It wasn't your typical snowstorm. It was janky. That's why you're late.
Janky means that something's like busted or broken or just bad.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, it looked good. It looked like, my kids always say it's looked like Star Wars when
Yeah.
you go into hyperdrive and you put on the bright headlights, So it was
Yeah,
quite,
like
it
a
was
like a
quite
janky
romantic.
2021.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I'm trying to
2020 was
broaden the definition of janky.
And you're
I
really
might
proud that
succeed
you
by
learned
the
that
end.
word like 2 minutes ago, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You learned it from Justin.
I learned it from Justin.
Amazing.
Janky
Nice.
Justin.
Janky Justin. That's his new nickname.
I mean, things can only get better this year, can they?
No, they can't. That was my point before you jumped into this whole thing.
I'm sorry.
I was in the
maybe
middle of
2020
speaking of that right now.
was
Finish-
only preparing us for 2021.
Finish your thought, Mo. He was getting into
Yeah.
2021.
Yeah, finish
Yeah,
your thought.
all
While
I
I'm
was
trying to
saying-
find this.
This pandemic is still going. People have been
Found it.
suffering throughout the year and it's not getting any better. And people are going to have to survive this year with less resources than we did last year.
Yeah.
So anybody who's having a better year this year is obviously in a position of privilege. And that's all that's all I have to say.
Yeah, so don't say Happy New Year. Say New Year.
New Year.
New Year.
New Year.
And drink more beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Chris, speaking of snowstorms, Matt was just saying, or somebody was just saying, you got caught in a social media snowstorm.
Me? I
Right
did.
or no? Oh, you didn't. I don't know.
No, I was just commenting
I don't know,
before
I
the
don't
show
think I
on the business tech no.
Oh, dude, that was like, it's so 2020.
What the hell is a Teshno?
I don't know. That's what he calls himself.
Yeah.
Dude, that was so 2020. I don't even remember that.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
What was that about again? About playing gigs? Man, I've got thrown so much stuff at me from also colleagues of mine that I'm a hypocrite and everything. And I say that
Really?
at that point. Yeah, it's just crazy.
But this
But
year
I-
or last year?
Oh, just very recently too,
Oh.
and I just really I just avoid dealing with that stuff
Yeah.
because I know I can look myself in the mirror. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm saying. I'm stand to everything that I said throughout the whole year, and yeah. So I'm kind of fine.
Yeah.
Obviously I'm human, so I do mistakes myself and say stupid stuff. But I usually apologize for that or put things straight. So.
Chris,
you
you're
know,
more than
It would seem that quite a few people we know are going quite crazy, though. I mean, I saw Carl Craig's Instagram. It looked like he'd been up for days.
I think he was.
now that's just Carl's humor.
I saw that with his tequila, and it was just like with his ski goggles and a tequila sitting in his studio. I love it. It's great. I mean, it's just I like his humor. You know, he just doesn't take himself too serious. And if people take that too serious, then it's their fault. I think.
Yeah.
But Chris, you're like the perfect human. You're like you're vegan. You're like more than human. You know? So how could anybody call you a hypocrite or talk shit about you?
Somebody
You're
cue
vegan,
White Zombie right now.
You know?
What?
More human
Q
than
White
human?
Zombie?
Yeah, more human than human. I thought I was gonna. Never mind.
I think what veganism is that final frontier. I hope to achieve that one day. I'm not having much luck. lately, but
Dude,
it's something I aspire.
I did some meatball spaghettis
be.
on Christmas and actually on New Year's because they were so good. They were in demand on New Year's again. They're so incredibly good and so easy to make. I'll teach you, and that's the next step to become a vegan.
Really?
Yeah.
What like what's the mystery meat there?
Oh, it's Beyond Meat, minced Beyond Meat, like the Beyond Meat brand. They do just minced meat packages as well, and then you mix it up with salty crackers, with frozen spinach, which obviously you what that's the word I've learned, thawed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, you thaw it, so it's pretty dry, and you put some garlic in it and some and shallots, and you mix it well, and then you bake it in the oven, and then you do little really nice pasta sauce, and you put it together in the oven, and it was just so incredibly good.
I had a friend that came over once.
Spicy.
I had a friend that came over once who doesn't eat meat, and we were having hamburgers. I was making hamburgers from scratch, and he brought the Impossible or Beyond Burger over, and he had like I think two. And there was two other patties in the package, and he left it in my fridge. He forgot to take it. And of course, I'm not going to throw it away in case he comes back, but he didn't come back for like weeks. And the smell of this thing, I don't know what was in it, but fuck, it smelled like rotten dog food.
Well, how long did you have it in your fridge?
I think like 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks.
Well, put some fresh meat in your fridge for 2.5 weeks and see how that smells. Huh?
Yeah.
I think they would call that an aged steak.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, yeah.
So you haven't tried them, Ali. You haven't tried the Beyond. You haven't tried the Beyond Burger or
I
Beyond.
tried it. It's quite good. When it's fresh, it's quite good. And you know what? Like a great substitute for chicken is jackfruit.
Yeah.
You will never know the difference.
Yeah.
Properly spiced jackfruit is like the perfect substitute for anyone out there that wants to go vegan. That would be my besides the Impossible or Beyond Burger, that would be my.
That's quite a popular ingredient for people who make vegan tacos in LA. You always have jackfruit tacos. But that's funny because my wife made jackfruit curry just last night. It's pretty good.
I bet you it was delicious.
It was really good.
I've had some good jackfruit tacos at Chris, you've been there, the Modern Times, that brewery.
That's really good. Yeah,
they had some jackfruit tacos that were really
I mean, those burgers there, David,
those are really good too.
They're really good, right? And the fries that come with these burgers.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe this is too much information, but I feel like those Impossible burgers make my piss smell for days. It's almost like asparagus or something. I don't know what spice they put in that thing, but it just I feel like I sweat it for days after eating it.
Are you non-vegans are really hard trying to find like bad things in the good new vegan food?
No, the thing is I like it. I mean, I enjoy it. It's just like it, when I go to like any kind of burger spot, if they have a vegan burger, I'd rather eat that. I appreciate it.
I mean, I took drives from Venice to downtown just to eat Modern Times burger. But I mean, for anyone, I can recommend like Veggie Grill. I mean, that's more on the West Coast, right?
Or Crossroads. Crossroads is amazing.
I mean, Crossroads is a really high standard restaurant. What I'm talking about is like, for example, Veggie Grill is like kind of the McDonald's of vegans, you know? And I love that burger there. It's a pretty simple, plain Beyond Meat burger, and it's pretty amazing.
I really love.
We have Carl's Jr. on every corner now.
Yeah.
All right.
I love for everyone living or anyone living in LA who is vegan or wants to experiment with veganism. Sage in Echo Park, Echo Park, Silver Lake area. Sage is incredible.
Abby's Diner is also near Echo Park. That's pretty good. Maybe I'm a little off on the location there, but I've been in that area. But I mean, we're always talking about that in a fun way. But if I can just slide in a little bit of information there. If, for example, like I got home late, like I was with my kids on tour a little, and we didn't have anything to eat, and there's a McDonald's on the gas station here, and they actually have a vegan burger here in Frankfurt.
Wow.
And so for the first time in 15 years, I went to a McDonald's and got a vegan burger. And I have to say, you know, that is the way how we get vegan food more into the mouth of everybody. And it will just extremely help our planet. That's the point. It's just like the factory farming, especially the meat that is being sold at fast food restaurants, is killing our planet more than like all the transportation combined. Like it's insane how destructive the factory farming on this planet is. Meat and dairy. It is more destructive than anything else combined, and that's where we should start. And I think that's a great step if like Carl's Jr. or McDonald's and places like that introduce vegan stuff for people to just move over. But it has to be good. I mean, the burger was okay, mine are better, but it's a start. It's a start. It's definitely a start. And it's McDonald's. I had this weird McDonald's aftertaste afterwards, which was so
always
weird.
there's that,
like, where does it come from?
Vegetable oil, I think.
The laboratory.
the laboratory.
GSF Foods.
Yeah.
But like I think most fast food restaurants, at least in the US now, are adopting that Beyond Meat option now, because I know like McDonald's and Carl's Jr., I think Jack in the Box.
McDonald's in the States doesn't have it yet.
Really? I thought I saw that it's coming. Or
no, I think they had a licensing issue because McDonald's probably had an offer for it first and they turned it down, and I think Carl's Jr. got an exclusivity on it.
What?
Yeah, and I think the only other fast food chain which is probably owned by the same company as Carl's Jr. is Del Taco. They have it as well.
I could have sworn I saw more fast food places offering or starting. Like even Burger King has the Whopper, the Beyond.
They do?
I think they do the Impossible Burger. That's a different company.
What's the difference between? Is it just the name of the company?
No, it's a different company and it's a different recipe.
Okay.
Of the false meat.
Which one's jankier for you, Chris?
I'm actually a Beyond Meat guy.
Okay.
Especially the new recipe. They have a new recipe which is a little bit more juicy. It's really good. Guys, I once we get back together, I really got to do burgers for all of you.
Yeah.
Like I got pretty good by now over the whole last year with my burgers and my sauces that I'm doing for the burgers, especially, and everything. I just need to work on the bread. And Ali, that's your compartment. I really need to have some good buns.
But have you been, reflecting on, the last year? Have you guys spent a lot of time at home? I assume you have, cooking for yourselves. Have you become more, self-assured in the kitchen?
Mm-hmm. I know I have.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not doing gourmet stuff, but compared to when I was normally traveling, I'm definitely know my way around the kitchen a lot more and can whip something up just by, whatever I have left. If I don't need to go to the market, I can look at something. Okay, I can make something with this. So like I could never do that before. Yeah. So definitely on that front. And I also look up a lot of recipes too, just to get ideas or to be inspired. Like for instance, today I have lentils. I'm like, I want to look something up to make with lentils. So I'm gonna look up a recipe, stuff like that. So I know for me, it's been it's good for me.
Yeah, it's so easy. Like when you have the right ingredient or your favorite ingredient, just to do a Google search and find thousands of recipes.
And I think the similarities to making music and cooking is immense. It's great.
Same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. It's so much fun. I was a pretty decent cook before, but obviously I did cook way more. And I got pretty good at cheesecakes.
Cheesecake.
Oh, yeah, we saw the photos. Quite good.
I did another one for Christmas here, and everybody was happy.
How is everyone? We haven't talked since before Christmas, right?
No, it's good to see you all. And
we haven't talked all year.
And I think we haven't talked all year. No, we should do a little recap. We haven't spoken in the last 3 weeks. Hello, everyone, back. We're at show number what? 38.
38.
Everybody was watching. Thank you for checking back in. We're still here.
You think people are still entertained by us?
I don't know.
Are they happy that we're back? Or
Anybody still watching?
we gotta ask Janky Juice Justin afterwards.
Janky Juice. The YouTube.
Oh, wait a minute. Justin, are you there?
We should bring Justin in.
We should get Justin in. Justin, come in for a second, just for 5 minutes or so, because people really need to find out who we're talking about all the time. Because in the past, let's say, at least last half year, he took over a major role in this program.
Poor Justin, he's probably outside getting high right now, man. He's like, oh shit, what am I gonna do? I need some Visine. What the hell?
And we assume he's always watching the show while we're doing it, like a producer.
Yeah, he's not watching.
And now he's sitting outside, like these guys talk there. So Justin, are you there anywhere?
I'm sure he'll jump on. If
Justin, can you jump on for a second and tell us how you see this show and how we've evolved?
There he is.
Oh.
There he is.
Oh.
There he is. The Janky Juice is coming up.
Janky Juice.
Justin!
What's up, guys?
Justin's gonna wish he never told that word to Ali.
Are you getting hot?
Can you explain us the janky thing? What's already had a janky beer. So what's going on?
Yeah. Not much. No, my girlfriend is a therapist, and she does like sessions in the other room, so I have to like.
Busted.
But yeah, what's up, guys? But you're right, though. You guys were like talking about it, and I was like, oh shit. And I was like, what do I do?
We're so sorry. We should have warned you to do this. But I thought you should be coming on and tell us a little bit of what have you done? What have you done in this? Oh, he's gone again.
No, I'm back. Sorry.
Right. Like what do you actually do to help us? What is your what company do you have, and what's going on? We want to know a little bit more about you with all of us.
Don't spot. Yeah, so I run a digital company called Juice Productions. I consider myself kind of like a digital mechanic. So think of it like behind every brand, there's like an engine that kind of runs behind the scenes. I build those engines. So when it comes to like the marketing, the tech, data, all that fun stuff. So it's good.
Who's the guy in the Matrix movies? Like the last Matrix movie where
the guy with the key.
It's the dude that's like laying back with like 9 monitors. And
he's the one that like created the Matrix, like the engineer or whatever, like the guy.
Oh
yeah.
The operator.
The last movie, last movie that made no sense to anyone, but like that was the guy that was like, I made the Matrix.
Yeah, pretty much. You guys are in my Matrix right now.
We're in your Matrix, literally.
When you look at the screens, do you just see ones and zeros?
That's people.
You're like, I just see a red head.
No, he just sees zeros. Bad joke, I know.
Justin, do you drink with us whenever we do the show? Because I know it's 3 in the afternoon, 4 in the afternoon.
Yeah, I'm kind of like at my smoke phase at that point.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I like to dab. So like it's the equivalent of a fine bourbon in the cannabis world.
That's more like slamming heroin in the cannabis world, in my opinion.
Yeah. It is true. People like bust out like a torch. It's just like
I've smoked a dab before. That shit laid me flat on my ass the whole goddamn day, dude. I didn't move.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, you know, if you have liquor, you're not gonna like rip shots of it like you drink beer, you know, like you just kind of sip on it. It's like
sip on dabs.
Yeah, just sip on it. That's nice because you can like mix flavors and stuff. It's nice. A little more control of the experience. You know, you can like mix flavors and strengths, and like, do you want like a more of a mental, like clean high, or do you want like a body heavy? You know, you can kind of like control like what you want. So it's a little bit different.
Chris, do you do dabs?
I would love to. I'm sitting here in Germany and it's just fucking forbidden. Yeah. And I don't have any access to anything, and it's just like I ran out of my stuff now. My oils, everything is gone.
Oh my god! I'd send you some stuff. But I don't get
Wow. Send from an anonymous.
I know. Feel sorry for me, guys.
Just drink beer.
To America soon.
We'll just pour a little bit out for Chris right now.
Yeah, pour some out for Chris.
So Justin, since you've been watching us all the time, you're helping us to get to get our like sites going and stuff. We have a new site, by the way, guys out there. We have now. What do we have now? We have now Facebook. We have Instagram. We have YouTube. We have everything.
Yeah, we're like kind of trying to get legit.
After 1 year.
After a year, we're like, no, we should like do something with this. But yeah, no, we got like an Instagram now. We got Facebook, YouTube. So I know some of you guys are like on Chris's YouTube right now, and some of like Ollie's and whatnot. So like eventually we're going to transition completely to the DJs and beer stuff. So just make sure to follow that stuff, because eventually we're not going to do it anymore on these guys' socials. So yeah, I think like a lot of cool stuff, kind of planning and trying to make it, a little more interactive and engaging, and try to do a little more than just these Thursday events. And I think the feedback's been good though. It's last year, so for the artists and the fans, so it's been good.
Oh yeah, the audience is great. Another applause to the audience.
Yes, thank you guys.
We don't really put much effort. Yeah, we don't really put much effort into advertising the show, right?
Well, no,
and
we have no money.
So it's just word of mouth, like that everybody's tuning in. That's so great.
Everyone looking for therapy.
That's even better.
Yeah. This is the weekly digital therapy.
DJ.
Yeah.
Have you guys got any like favorite shows from last year? Anyone that's? I mean, Laurent was amazing. There's a final show. I mean, apart from his misty scream, we could have gone on for hours.
Yeah. I mean, what's the chess one?
There's so many
on Netflix.
So many.
Something Gambit.
Oh, the Queen's Gambit.
Yeah, so good.
I think Matt.
I mean, on DJs and Beers. I mean,
oh, I was like Netflix stuff.
The favorite.
I loved getting to know Sama a bit more, and we should maybe just quickly mention.
Oh yeah, she's free.
Yeah,
She's
give
free.
a shout out to Sama, our colleague who was on the show last year, who we learned a lot about, who was imprisoned during a recording of a live stream that I guess she was doing for Beatport's Twitch channel.
oh wow.
Yeah.
And she had gotten the permits, but she was nevertheless arrested and thrown in jail illegally. And now she's out on bail. She can't really comment because she's out on bail. And she could potentially face, if she's convicted of whatever crime they're accusing her, she could face jail time. So it's a very touchy situation. It's a very real thing that she's going through. And our hearts are with her. And we hope that cooler heads will prevail, and she'll be acquitted of whatever it is she's been charged with.
Yeah.
So
Definitely. Cheers.
Well, we'll be fully behind that cause all the time until she is fully acquitted.
Definitely.
Yeah. It's maybe to respect like what she has to go through her story. Like it's, we take like our ability to just like play music or whatever for granted. I mean, it's wild to hear that end of the that side of the world.
Yeah, just to play music. Like she just wanted to do a DJ stream, and yeah, it's crazy that I guess we're privileged, to just be just to jump on and do a stream anywhere and like have no issues,
Yeah, talking about being happy.
Yeah.
That's where.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's when you think about it, it's like on the one hand, like your freedom of expression is being taken away from you. On the other hand, your freedom, I can't think of anything worse than your freedom taken away from you.
Yeah.
So it's I don't know.
Yeah, we definitely need to get her on once she is completely free again and she's free to talk and express herself, to tell us the whole story.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah.
But just thinking about past shows, I think
we definitely need to have Danny Tenaglia back on. I mean, we need to have part two.
Part two, yeah.
Which is great. A lot of good stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think those have been the best episodes. Like the ones where, like, at least for me, being the younger millennial generation, just hearing about all the stuff that happened like before I even existed.
So you're not really involved in the whole techno scene where we're coming from. So loads of guests that are on our show you see for the first time too.
Oh no, I've been fans of like the techno world for probably like 10 years or so, but like in the scope of like 20, the 80s and like kind of the roots of it. I don't know. It's like my generation, I feel like it's always about like the latest and greatest and like the hottest shit, when it's like sometimes latest and greatest isn't the best, and then like you hear like something that's like amazing, you're like, oh, this is like the shit, and you're like, yeah, that came out 20 years ago. And you're like, oh, okay, so it's just a lot more, it's curious.
Don't feel so bad because there's still music that I'm discovering now that's from like the late 80s, early 90s, and I'm like, what the hell is this? This is amazing, so
no, exactly. So it's just like it's cool to hear that part, because it's definitely hard when you're constantly forward thinking, to kind of respect the past and whatnot. So
I would say
certainly a good thing
Carl
to
was
hear.
a good one for me. Sorry, Mo.
Say again?
Carl Cox.
Oh yeah,
was a fun. I just admired his energy after being a DJ for so long. I was like, damn, man, this guy, I don't know, just made me feel like inspired.
Right.
Yeah. Even at his level, he's still like grinding, hustling.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been with Carl on tours where it's like 3 days in a row on no sleep, 2-3 days in a row, like very, very, very little sleep. And he's got the same energy. It's just the way he's wired. It's who he is. It's part of his DNA, growing up within the scene. And I think it's really important what we do, where we, try to draw a line, because I think our past informs our future. We try to draw a line to certain key figures in the past that have really paved the way for all of us and for a lot of others out there.
So Justin, you're saying you actually learned something from our show?
Yeah, had a wrangling cats. Just kidding. No, absolutely. I mean, it's like, just like to hear about the culture of it, I guess, is like really, really awesome to me. Because I mean, like for us, it's like we kind of take it for granted, like our access to music, and like y'all had to like grind to like find a track. It's like kind of going through like the record store and whatnot. So it's like it's I don't know. It's like it's like a foreign concept. It's just a foreign concept, because I'm just accustomed to the online. I mean, for me, like underground was like LimeWire. And like
LimeWire was underground when it came out, man.
Oh, shit, I think I was in.
Wow, what are you drinking, Ali?
Fuck you.
That's a
you know what is it?
It's an IPA, Fallen. I think it's also from Barcelona. It says on the back, in the interest of reading the fine labels, it says, fuck the police.
Fuck the police.
Fuck the police. It says, kill the king. Fuck the police. Kill the king.
That's a very positive messaging beer that you have there.
Message.
Yeah.
But yeah, what I thought was crazy about Carl was that he's still got all of his records. I mean, he has never sold. I mean, Ali, do you still have all your collection? And same with you, Chris? Going back to the,
Yep, storage at the moment.
Wow.
When it's all at my mom's house. When I start, like I go down into the basement and I start looking through the.
Oh God.
I have like the majority of the stuff was organized, and then when it was moved to their house from my old place, it's like it's completely disorganized, but there's like clusters that are still organized together.
Yeah.
And when I find those clusters, whether it's basic channel or new phonic or classic or whatever, a lot of the Detroit stuff, it's just a gold mine. There's so much amazing material. I wish I could just sit there and digitize and re-edit my entire back catalog.
I mean, I think I'm going to have to buy like one of these portable record players, because most of my records now are in my basement.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be the only way to go through them. It's just sit there.
Yeah. I got like a little Vestax one that I got in.
Yeah,
like
that's the one I'm looking at.
one.
That's pretty good.
Did any of you? When did all of you? Sorry, Justin, to keep you like sitting here now with.
Hey, that's okay. Either way, I'll be sitting here. So.
By the way, where are you sitting?
I'm in my bedroom right now.
Oh no, I mean where? Like what?
Oh, like DC. I'm in DC.
You're in DC right now. Not
In
enough.
about
In
5
the-
minutes
in the epicenter.
5 minutes from where all of you guys watched yesterday.
Yeah, insane. But what I wanted to know is digitalizing vinyls. Did some of you, like when I started playing digital, which was around 2000, what was it, 1, 2, I guess, when the Final Sketch came out, I started digitalizing my vinyls. Did you guys do the same thing at some point?
Yep.
Yeah, slowly. It took me a long time, but then it was that whole thing of, I mean, I was touring with records up to 2008. I think I had one occasion where my records didn't arrive. I left the Panorama bar, I had the big Rimowa box, you know, and had a CD case stuffed in the front. I went straight to Mutech, no sleep, and my records didn't arrive. And I was going on tour for a week, and then that was it. That was the last time I traveled with records. So that was one of those moments where I was like, right, I need to start digitalizing. But I mean, it's an insane task. And what I do mostly is just look on Beatport or Juno download and try and find the
I mean,
masters.
of course now, but I mean, for those younger viewers who are born when just Beatport opened, there was a time before Beatport, there was a time before digital download stores. There was a time where it was even really hard to get rip-offs, digital rip-offs of anything. So you had to digitalize your vinyl. There was no way to otherwise play digital music, which was in a way pretty like insane, because you had this thing that you would be traveling with, and then you put it on digital something, and then you, I
remember playing at Ministry of Sound on New Year's Eve, they had these VDJs, these video CDJ players, and they were janky. They were, and I remember seeing, because back then CDs would get, they would corrupt really quickly, and I remember seeing the WAV going along, and then there was just a massive cutout where it literally was obviously it was going to either stop or there would just be nothing. And that's the big problem back then with the CDs. They would degrade so quickly, they would never last.
I remember I'm trying to remember the DJ that did this. I think it was Sander Kleinenberg, where he had like a VJ that he toured with, and the VJ would make visuals.
I bet if you could find one now, I bet they're amazing, because you can play DVDs in them.
No, but the visual guy would make visuals for all the music that he was playing out, and he was using a DVJ, the Pioneer.
DVJ. I have that. It's pretty tight. It looks just like a CDJ, but it's to mix video. Like it's wild.
So he was DJing, but it was all.
I mean, I guess they were made for commercial jocks playing in ritzy nightclubs who could play literally video mix at the same time.
I mean, like, do you guys ever see artists like play music and control their visuals at the same time, or they always have like a separate VJ? I mean,
well, it depends if they're doing a live show. Yeah.
They do. I mean, live show, they do the visuals too. Like they'll control them.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the EDM guys have. I mean, most of those shows, dare I say it, they're quite pre-programmed and structured. They have like a lot of bells and whistles and.
What? I'm shocked.
Yeah, there's a lot going on, and it's a lot easier to press play and put on a show for an hour than it is to try to do everything live. But there's
the same exact show next day.
There's a lot, it depends if you have the extra budget.
They're too busy standing on the table and getting on the microphone. They can't mix at the same time.
Well, we should have an EDM, because I'm friends with a lot of them. We should have an EDM artist on the show.
They have to know it's not going to be a roast.
There you go.
Be a roast.
Yeah. Definitely not Don Diablo, not him.
Don Diablo.
Who's Don Diablo?
Oh man.
Just Google.
I'm like throwing myself under the bus.
Ali has a great story with Don Diablo, I think.
I have a great
I do know that actually for a fact.
I'll wait till he comes on the show.
Nice.
Wow.
Anyways, Justin, it's been great to see you.
Yeah.
You can hang in here if you want to, but I don't want to get your girlfriend all angry at you.
Oh no, that's why she's in the other room. She's fine.
All right. Yeah. you might as well stay on, or you don't want to kick
I might as well. I'll kick it for a little bit.
You might as well. You just stay on. I saw Justin. Are you looking through the comments sometimes too? Because I just looked through the comments and people were discussing.
Maybe throw out a question, Justin, that we can.
People were discussing the guests that we have, and they were asking that we also get some promoters, and we actually have some promoters lined up, and I'm really, really, really fucking excited for next week's show that Mo organized actually, and that is another. I would say. Mo, maybe you can explain that a little bit better than I do, but that's going to be quite a nice history lesson for a lot of people, right?
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry. What did I organize again? You're talking about next week's show?
Next week's guest. Wake up, Mo.
Yeah.
Next week. Next week we're having Kevin Key from the infamous Skinny Puppy.
Whoa!
He'll be joining us on the show. For any industrial music enthusiasts out there, I don't think there's been a more influential band who has been at the root of this for as long as he has. Well, as him and Ogre and the whole crew. So it's pretty incredible to have him.
I love. I don't know the producer's real name, but. It's Kevin Key, right? Kevin Key, Kevin Key, and Nivek Ogre. What a name! Nivek Ogre was the producer. I fucking always loved that name. It sounded like a band member from. Remember that crazy group? I think they're still around. Gwar, Gwar, Gwar.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when it comes to stage theatrics, I think Ogre takes the lead. I mean, Skinny Puppy's stage presence and what they do live on stage and the show that they put on has influenced pretty much everyone in a lot of ways. I mean, if you look back to their early live shows from 83, 84, what they were doing was shocking, absolutely shocking. And I mean, you could see it clearly when you watch videos of Nine Inch Nails and even, all these kind of modern industrial bands that are doing stuff. You can physically see the inspiration of what Skinny Puppy played in the role of what they do live. So
I think Marilyn Manson borrowed firmly from the blueprint of Skinny Puppy.
Yeah, him amongst many. So, I mean, they've influenced people both, not even just as a visual show, which is unbelievable, but sonically with their music as well.
And so, I think, how did we have the honor that this is our guest? Like, how did you pull this off? Are you friends?
Yeah, me and Kevin have become friends. I kind of mingled with a lot of various people in the industrial scene who've played in LA, and obviously a lot of these people were my heroes growing up, and just from my experience working in studios and doing engineering jobs, I've crossed paths with a lot of my personal heroes. But me and Kevin's story is quite interesting because we share a similar hobby in very rare, interesting, old Japanese toys and collectibles from Tokyo. And we would run into each other at toy fairs all over the place that we would go to. So that's our connection. That's how me and Kevin kind of hooked up. And he's a good dude, really good dude.
Well, make sure, Mo, for next week's show that you draw attention to your most prized Japanese toy.
Yeah, and I'm sure Kevin will too. It's funny. It's a topic I'm sure we'll jump into, and he's well versed. And I don't want it to be a surprise, but I'm sure he's got a lot to talk about it in himself as well.
Matt, aren't you also kind of very well known with this stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I used to collect a lot of toys, and I mean, I went through phases of buying like 60s like squeaky toys to all kinds of stuff. Once you get into it, but with the kids, I mean, I started to sell them, and I mean, I was lucky enough, like 12 years ago, to buy 2 Cause figures, the 4-foot Cause toy, not toys, they're like statues. But actually I sold them. So, and I'm just about to sell pretty much the rest of them. So, yeah, I mean, the kids just pick them up and they just.
Do they want to play with them? And you're like, no.
Yeah. So, yeah. But I mean, it's good. I think the great thing about the internet now is that I'm quite pleased just by flicking through Instagram and seeing stuff. I think it's the same with a lot of things. I think the actual ownership and sort of holding something or owning, especially with things like toys or stuff like that, or objects. Maybe, you know, I don't really need, because you could be, years ago, you couldn't find them unless you went to Japan. You'd never see them. You would never even see this stuff. But now with the internet, you can see everything.
It's funny because Matt, also when my son was born, obviously having things on display wasn't as much of an option. So a lot of stuff went back into catalog and into boxes, and even sold quite a few things over the period. It's hard to collect under those circumstances. But as a matter of fact, Smithsonian Magazine did an interview with me about my collection recently, and it was about collectors in general during the pandemic. So Kevin's got an incredible collection of a lot of stuff, and I know he's traveled well over the world to get a lot of his things, and I'm kind of in a similar vein. So that's the story behind that.
Yeah. I mean,
has the value of the items like gone up since like more people are collecting them now? Like,
if you invest in the right stuff, and I think that's what makes a good collector. Knowing how to pick out the gems and knowing that I mean, it's not always about money and value. If you truly love something and you're passionate about it, then that's what it is. And for me, a lot of the stuff that I'm into is kind of more of like a little bit more in the designer toy realm and kind of the art realm. So they're one-off by graffiti artists or individual artists who do a limited run of stuff, and they usually have like a lottery, and people who win the lottery get the opportunity to buy it. So the stuff is incredibly rare. It's like collecting art at the end of the day.
Yeah. Playable art.
Yeah.
Wow. So anyone who wants to learn something about Japanese collectible toys, tune in next week. By the way, we have a guy from Skinny Puppy on.
Is he like into the kaiju stuff and all that, the toys?
Yeah, and he's actually producing his own stuff too. So he's over in Tokyo quite a bit, pooling vinyl and actually doing paints and stuff like that. So that's his world, is kind of the kaiju safubi Japanese toy world.
How much does he know about the DJ scene and the techno scene and all that?
To be honest, I can't really say. I did I did an interview with him recently, and he interviewed me on one of his shows, and he was talking about his experience briefly of raves in the early 90s, that they kind of ran into stuff. But I jotted down my notes for next week. That's something that I kind of would like to dive deeper into and find out.
Yeah, being that, like, I mean, for me, Skinny Puppy is a massive influence. And I'm curious if he had, he was dialed into the early, like, for sure, the early EBM scene, maybe even the kind of RNS material that was out and about at the time. That was quite aggressive sounding. But I guess it's a nod to how varied our guests will be this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not like, I know of Skinny Puppy, I know some of their music, but like, would Skinny Puppy be a band that would be booked at like a techno show, and would they do that, or are they too big?
I don't think
maybe
back in the days play over well off.
Maybe back in the days. No.
Well, I mean, back in the days, possibly. Like, I mean, when Psychic TV was getting booked at raves, I think maybe that might have made a good crossover at some point. But
yeah, that's
out of there. I mean, Skinny Puppy's music is rather eclectic and experimental in its own right, so it's pretty out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it like electronica at all, or is it like really just
it's fully electronic?
Yeah, it's fully electronic music.
That's cool.
It's industrial music, in whatever that means.
Yeah, I got to peep them, because at first I thought you guys were talking about this band called Snarky Puppy, which is like a super funky like jam
that's the Skinny Puppy cover band.
Skipping from Skinny Puppy, I was about to say that, total rip-off.
Skinny Puppy cover band, Snarky Puppy.
Snarky Puppy.
I mean, it's even possible that Skinny Puppy is not a standard name amongst many of our techno followers, but I think most of the people who are techno lovers out there who watch this show would be absolutely surprised how much Skinny Puppy has influenced all the producers they love over the years.
Yeah.
And I believe, if I remember correctly, and we can ask him next week, but there was, you know, some heavy, obviously there was a lot of imagery in the live shows. What was projected on the video screens and the makeup and effects and stuff like that. But there was a huge message behind it all too. Like he was very pro, I'm sure he's a vegan. He's got to be a vegan. He was very pro animal rights and like a staunch defender of animal rights. And yeah, I'm pretty sure he's been vegan for a very long time.
Yeah, I mean, Ogre used to go on stage and do incredibly shocking theatrics with using animals on stage and doing kind of sacrificial kind of things on stage that would be kind of a protest against animal cruelty and things like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm sure they're good friends with Morrissey, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Hey Mo, I could be completely wrong. Is one of the guys from Skinny Puppy the guy that has the winery in Arizona?
No, you're thinking about Maynard James Keenan from Tool.
Okay, sorry. Tool.
Yeah, Maynard's another artist that I worked with. I produced a track for his he has another band outside of Tool called Pussifer. And I produced a track on their
wow. He's a legend.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be a tricky one to pull off, but I think it would be a good show. Maybe he would like to come in and share some wine with us.
I remember like
wine.
There's a few Tool videos. They were known for their videos. Their music was quite would you say it fell into the psychedelic rock?
Yeah, it's like kind of the psychedelic progressive rock scene for sure.
Yeah, and there was one video that just always struck a chord with me. Trying to remember for what song. I think it was
probably Schism.
Yeah, it was like a big hit for them.
Yeah.
Also because of the video. So that
would definitely be Schism. That was one of that video was pretty infamous for it's kind of a stop motion video thing that they did.
Yeah.
Mo, I feel like low key you've worked with like a lot of really interesting people.
I have, and dude, sometimes people are like, "Who are the most interesting people you work with?" And sometimes it just slips my mind, and then later on, after the interview or after someone's asked me, I was like, "Oh, I should have said this person," because I completely forgot. But yeah,
flip out the little black book.
Yeah, it's just a matter of circumstances, man. And a lot of people in the rock scene too. Like I work with Jonathan Davis from Korn quite a bit as well.
He was into techno, I remember.
Yeah, he was. That's actually how we met. Jonathan Davis reached out to me because after what Korn was, I think they were taking a hiatus for a second. I think it was right after Monkey passed away, their bass player, and he kind of wanted to get into DJing. So we kind of were sharing ideas about DJing. I don't know how well it worked out for him in the long run, but yeah, that's cool.
You remember a time when it used to be like rock stars that would get into DJing and that was okay. And now we got bloggers and influencers that are doing
it.
Yeah. Mo, could we get him on?
Who? Jonathan?
Yeah.
I haven't spoken to Jonathan Davis in probably 10 years and I don't even have his current phone number.
I'm really looking forward to next week's show. I really like when we venture out of a little bit our techno realm. When we had Douglas McCarthy on, it was great. It was fun, and I think it's fun for the people too. So maybe,
absolutely.
Maybe I think the people just want to hear techno. I don't know what y'all are saying, but I don't understand it, but I just want to hear some techno. So if y'all can play some techno, I'm gonna tune in.
The people
you guys agree to that guy?
The people want Dave Clark.
Yeah, you guys have like hyped up this like future episode so much.
The showdown,
especially for you, we get Dave Clark on and Don Diablo as a double guest, and like Don Diablo.
Oh my god, that'd be killer.
Gonna be
I already have the text. I already have the promo text written in my head, like the 5-hit wonder, Dave Clark.
I think it should just be the two of them, like nobody else.
In the 30+ year career, the legendary producer.
All right. Shall we mention some more guests that we have on? Like the week after, there's going to be Gustavo, who the founder and main guy behind Neopop in Portugal. So we have a promoter on, guys. who tells us to promote.
We're also going to have
Promote
Chuck
Saturday.
and Jason from Paxahau, who do the Movement Festival in Detroit.
That's going to be definitely a fun show.
We've got Frankie Bones and Joey Beltram. We've got.
Do we lock in Robert Hood?
We're probably going to get Robert Hood. Hopefully, Octave One. God, there's so many.
And we have almost been doing this for a year, so we can start going back to the part twos too if we want to.
Oh, and I locked in Lauren Flax yesterday.
Lauren Flax.
So she'll be cool to have on as well. Great.
Hey,
dude.
the YouTube chat is going crazy about Dave Clark. I think you have to face this, Ali.
That was the intention. Yeah.
Yeah. People want Dave Clark.
Somebody was like Jerry.
Yeah, dude. It's like, exactly. Oh yeah, we need to get.
He looks like a lumberjack now too.
You're gonna become loads of memes tomorrow, Ali. It's gonna be.
Mo, can we get Speedy J?
I'm pretty sure he'd be down.
You be down to come on?
Yeah, I think it's up to Chris.
Oh no, sure, Joachim was going to come down. I just didn't really get the chance to speak to him for a while now.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Excuse me, are we still talking about?
Speedy J.
Speedy J.
Yeah.
Who else are we gonna have? Well, I think we're gonna have the Juan McLean on, who I've been following for a very long time because he was part of the whole James Murphy DFA camp. And I didn't realize what an incredible DJ he is. He plays a Panorama bar.
He's an amazing guy. He's super lovely. Yeah, I've known
really, really super guy I've come to know over the years. And I did a show in New York, and I was in a position where I could book the support artists as well. And he was on the bill, and he blew me away with his set. So I'm really excited to have him on. Juan McLean.
Where's he from?
I can't remember where he's from, but he lives in New York.
Yeah.
Let's get Monica Cruz.
David, I'm just reading your comments here. Edwin turned us down.
I mean, he did. Not in a bad way. He said nicely that he's like, no, he doesn't want to do it. So it's all good.
Yeah. We still got to get Josh Wink on. This is just a running joke here that we're having. Like,
yeah. We'll write to Josh.
Josh, the reason he canceled last time because he threw out his back.
Exactly.
And he just never rescheduled. So I don't know. Maybe he's probably just not into it.
Who, Josh Wink?
Yeah.
That was almost a year ago.
Not into it. Come on, Josh.
I don't know. The times I've texted him like, "Hey, what's up?" He would not respond to it. So I've just stopped. I was like, "Okay."
He knows.
It's like, all right, he's not down. Initially, he was.
Some people are uncomfortable being put on the spot and having to talk about themselves. So we've got to respect that, David.
Yeah.
Maybe we have to respect it, or maybe we do it different. Maybe we do it differently for people who just don't want to come on the show. They have to live with it that we talk about them the whole show.
Yeah, we'll talk about them.
Yeah, like really bad shit. Oh, remember that after hour, that guy there, right?
We can have any guests we want, and they don't necessarily have to be on the show. We can do guests who aren't on the show.
Talk about them.
Like we can have Dave Clark, and we can just spend 2 hours talking shit about Dave Clark. And he doesn't have to be on the show.
No, you would spend 2 hours. I don't really.
Yeah, I'll get my popcorn.
I got no beef with Dave Clark.
Yeah, I don't know him. I just know like he was for me influential as a DJ.
Yeah, blah blah blah.
Watching him DJ back in the day, I don't know.
Boring.
He was dope.
Hey, I saw Dave Clark play in Detroit in 2001 at the Underground stage, and he blew my mind.
Yeah,
that was the only time I ever saw him play live.
And I loved his kick drums back in the 90s.
Yeah.
Influence your kick drum?
Chris,
did it influence your kick drum?
What? I didn't acoustically hear that. My amazing sound system. I'm sorry, by the way, with my sound system, I left my microphone.
What's the etiquette with having a Christmas tree up, Chris? Is it still okay in Germany?
I literally was only here in this apartment on Christmas Eve, and that's why the Christmas tree is standing there. So I just got back, and it's still there.
Okay.
Surprise, surprise! Nobody was here to take it down.
Since we haven't spoken for a few weeks now, how was everyone's Christmas?
Mine was very, very boozy. It was very boozy, but I think and very horizontal, and I think that's why I put my back out.
I'll say
Did
boozy
you guys-
or bougie?
Boozy.
Boozy.
Did you guys have a Merry Christmas, like you had a Happy New Year, or?
Well, I mean, if you've got kids, it is Christmas, but yeah, it was merry. But I mean, it's all just for the children. It's just for the kids because it's all about them and they love it. But I think for everyone else, it's whatever.
Not here.
Mo's birthday is
Christmas is my birthday.
Yeah, of course.
So
Oh, you got that beef with this Jesus guy, right?
yeah. Spent the last 39 years of my life buying other people gifts on my birthday.
Huh.
So it's a big 40 for you this year, is it, Mo?
No, it was 39.
No, for this year.
This year, yeah.
Yeah, this year will be 40. Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too.
No, I mean, it was Christmas this year was just me, my wife, and my son, which my son, of course, he had a blast. He got to open up his gifts, but a part of me probably was more nostalgic, wishing that he was surrounded by more family and around more people.
Yeah.
Obviously, other than that, for as far as my birthday goes, it was fairly lackluster. Everybody was in bed, and I pretty much watched Twilight Zone reruns all night. So,
hey, that's great. I used to do that too on 4th of July. They would have
They show a marathon
of that.
Yeah.
So, do you guys in the normal life? Would you guys normally be touring during the holidays, or you guys be at home?
Never.
Yeah, of course.
I always take Christmas off.
Absolutely.
A week of Christmas. Yeah.
Yeah. My agent is always throwing gigs at us during that, and I've always just said, "No, I'm going to be home."
I always went to Japan. This was the time of the year. It was just a good time to get away from Europe and get away from Christmas.
But not since you have kids, right?
No, we've taken our daughter there when she was 1. We took her for Christmas. Right. I played on Christmas Day there, and we stayed until the 28th. But still, I always thought it was just good to get away. I don't like being in Europe for Christmas. I mean, unless you're in somewhere that's very snowy, and you got this picturesque, like a ski resort where it feels like Christmas. If you're in a city, it's just gloomy.
Try being in
gray and wet
California when it's like 75 and sunny on Christmas.
Yeah.
Matt, where would you play in Tokyo?
Last few years it's been Contact and
great club, Contact.
Yeah, it's really cool. And then everywhere really. But I mean, I've always toured there. I mean, I've always been there for the last 15 years. I've never missed a year going there. I mean, I really miss it. I've missed my friends there. I miss and I know that they're they've got state of emergency there in Japan now, and I know COVID's hitting pretty hard, so it's going to be incredibly difficult. I think it was always difficult for club culture there, especially with EDM, which I think and these one-day festivals. So it's been tough, but they're real music fans, aren't they? So and they love the culture, love music. So
did you ever play Yellow? In Tokyo? Yeah, I used to do Womb one weekend and then Yellow the next weekend. I was in that fortunate position to be able to do both, and that was such a magical club. I saw Laurent Garnier once. We had him on this show. That was a great show. Yeah. Was that the last show?
Yeah.
Or that was a great show. And Laurent in Tokyo at Yellow. Wow. Goosebumps.
Speaking of, his band is awesome.
Project.
It is great,
guys. That psychedelic rock album that he talked about, I was listening to it like 10 times already. It's so fucking good.
I just put it in my car and just drove for like 4 hours.
So cool, isn't it? It's so good. Laurent, if you were listening, I wanted to text you. I haven't done this yet. This is such a fantastic album.
Yeah,
it's so good.
Oh wow, RA's page has changed.
Well, yeah, they just got funding.
Hey, wait a minute. Is that the next topic? I remember, I mean, in the past days, I have to apologize. I was just skimming through our DJs and Beers chat at some points and WhatsApp. But didn't you guys come up with like a topic list for our show today?
We did.
So we come across a little bit more
We did,
professional
but
and we have like topics to talk about.
But
and
Chris,
stuff.
you've mentioned RA, and I just wanted to ask you as a group, like, I mean, are you following what's going on in the music world?
No.
Because I found that, I mean, it's difficult. Obviously you can follow Dave Clark on Facebook, or you can read about whoever, but I mean, it's become very difficult. I don't think the problem is with everything else that's been going on, there's been very little music news, even on sites like RA, everything's definitely slowing down.
Maybe because there's not much going on.
There's always music coming out, I just I don't know.
Everybody, I'll be honest,
having
guys.
beef and stuff.
Every DJ that I talk to, DJ producer, whatever, like very few of them are listening to dance music right now.
Oh, really?
The majority of them are listening to other things. I mean, even Laurent on the show said gravitating towards other styles of music. People are looking for music to keep them company in a more comforting way, right now, because we don't have the correct environment, for the club music that we're used to kind of being.
When I was 12, I wasn't going to clubs. I didn't even know what clubs were, but I was buying Planet Rock, and I was buying what was club music.
I know, but how many years have you been playing in clubs, and now you know what it is? So it's kind of like depressing when you have club music and you're listening to it and you understand what it is.
We're just a fraction, Ali. DJs is just a fraction of the consumers. I mean, in fact, we're not the consumers, because most of us
producers.
are on promo pools and take it for granted. But there's millions of people out there who sit in their car or sit at home and they listen to dance music. Regardless of whether they can go to a club and hear it.
I'm actually having more fun listening to promos right now than I do when I was touring. Tomorrow, for example, I have planned out my day to check all my promos, go all through, and I'm actually this time looking forward to this. Usually that would be something like, oh my God, I have to do this tomorrow. But I'm looking forward to this because on Saturday I'm going to do another stream. I just wanted to throw this out there. So Saturday is another Alone Together stream because I'm looking forward to play actually also a long set again. And even if nobody was watching, I would be just really, I'm really already looking forward to do this because I haven't done it for almost 4 weeks now. It's kind of a therapy in itself too.
I still don't know how
you're doing it from your techno bunker, Chris, right?
Yes, that's why I'm here now.
And will this be the last one before you go back to Switzerland, or? Yeah,
but I'll come back from Switzerland and do it again. Just go back.
You won't be doing it up on the slopes like Nina.
I'm actually in talks. We have ideas to do maybe in March. Up on the mountain. Cool. To do a nice.
I was gonna say it's beautiful up there. Definitely take advantage of that.
No, but this on Saturday is going to be from my cave again. Yeah.
I think it's time for a Chris Liebing circle set from the top of the slopes.
That'd be cool.
Circle? Oh, circle. That's circle. Yeah. But that has been done too, right? Mont Blanc, right?
Yeah. But I'm sure you can find a more interesting.
Angle. There's not really much more interesting than Mont Blanc. I mean, I'm looking at Mont Blanc where I'm at, but it's pretty much next door.
We should start doing some live sets on the DJs and Beer stuff now that we have channels.
That'd be cool if we could play back to back, like.
Yeah. Actually bring some music into DJs and Beers.
There's got to be a way to do that.
Like for you guys all to play back to back.
If we play back to back, yeah. Well, I'm just
kind
of thinking out loud about it.
When are we supposed to do this like DJs and Beers DJ mix?
Yeah. No, we're supposed to do a track.
The track's with me, I think. I'm the final.
It's you, Matt.
Matt, what's going on? You're slacking.
But another quick other question: have we all played back to back with each other before? I don't even remember.
For sure.
Only
I played back to back with you, Chris, and with Ali.
Have
twice.
Three of us have. Mo, we have played back to back, right?
We've played back to back, yeah.
Definitely not me.
David,
And I've only ever played with Mo. Yeah.
How is it when you guys play back to back, David and Mo?
We did this. We had this thing called cell injection, where we would, in the beginning, it was both of us on tractor, basically doing 8 decks synced, and we would do
Wow.
loops and effects and just do this like crazy jumble of tracks and play for a
Yeah.
couple hours. Well, actually, we did a Burgoyne closing once as cell injection
And
And
an
that was-
opening.
and opening. That's right. Well, a couple
Yeah.
openings, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we've done a couple open, and then we did that. How long was the closing set that we
The
did?
closing was 10 hours.
10 hours. Yeah.
What was the technical setup?
Just both on tractor separately with we each had our own zone 92 mixers with the tractor X1 controllers. I mean, he had like Machina and fuck, I don't know. His was more elaborate than mine.
No, but we have
Yeah.
also done open to close sets in LA where we played
Oh,
the
yeah,
whole night
complex.
where we would bring drum machines and 303s and different like gear and just kind of just jam the whole night from the opening to close.
That's right.
I was gonna
Complex.
say if you guys are all on Ableton, like if you could do like a MIDI sync thing, but if everyone's playing like some CDJs, some tractor, it might be hard to without having to
Yeah,
like.
it's easy.
Yeah, we never use MIDI sync anyways. We always just match
Yeah, it
all the
was-
gear.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
just would
Yeah.
nudge the put it.
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
it's
we,
much-
you,
it's
you
much
set the
better to
tempo.
be-
It was the easiest way.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, like over like digital, you know, like or if you do it like over this or something, you know, because I feel like there'd be a lag or something.
Oh yeah.
Also, we did the observe all night from open to close too.
What's that?
Observe all night.
Yeah,
Oh, we did.
with Hyper, me, you, and Hyper back to back all night.
Oh yeah, but I was on CDJs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we've also done back-to-back sets where David was on CDJs and I was on Tractor.
Yeah, that's true.
We've done that a bunch of times.
Yeah, we
I've
just
done back-to-back sets with DJs who are playing vinyl, and I'm on my whole kind of tractor setup.
Well,
I don't think it's
that's
that
funky.
difficult to lock the tempos.
It's doable.
Yeah.
Oh, and Chris, how does CDJs? Are you getting into them?
Yeah. They're
Yeah?
really, really cool. Yeah.
So you're going to stop using Tractor?
I don't know. Well, the connection's really bad right now.
I don't know, man. I tried. As much as I love Pioneer, every once in a while, if I play an after party, I'll play on a USB stick. And I just it's like you need your collection. You know, you just need the screen. You need to be able to see everything, and you kind of need.
Yeah, I think people are used to what you're used to. But at the end of the day, did you guys see this headline news that apparently NI was going to sell Tractor to Allen and Heath or something like that?
Yeah, but it's not true.
It's not true.
It's not true. I know firsthand.
Mm.
Well, that's good.
It's just
I
rumors.
thought it was a done deal. No.
Conspiracy theories.
Ah,
Was that
Fake
also
news.
a topic on our list? Conspiracy theories?
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, but I don't want to get into that. It's crazy.
I would have been
is there
sad to
is
see
there
that happen because I feel like I have some emotional ties into Tractor just because of me working at Native Instruments at its early inception. So
But I can tell you it's not true.
Good.
From knowledge that I've gathered 2 weeks ago.
Mo, did you work on Tractor or did you work in their other department?
I wasn't a part of the development team. When I started working at Native Instruments, I was the very first Tractor tech support person in the US. And this was right when we made the first Final Scratch puck, that little round disc. And I was the only person doing tech support in the whole United States for that thing. So my
That's how we
Interesting.
met. We met because we were doing tech support there.
And the queue for support for that thing was massive at the time. But since I was the only support person, I was the only one who was cataloging and making a database of all the bugs that were being reported through the end users. So I often talked to the development team and kind of reported what I was finding from the end customers. And so I do feel like I played a little hand in its development at some point.
Were you a user of it as well, or just a second?
Oh, I have been since its beginning. I mean, I skipped the whole CDJ thing. I mean, obviously I started playing vinyl records, and when Tractor came along, I think I was kind of prejudiced against using CDs. And then when Tractor came along, it was like, oh, great. I can still use turntables and still use vinyl and play the music off my computer and play my own tracks without having to cut dub plates. So I kind of just skipped the whole CDJ culture. And then obviously turntables kind of slowly faded out just because of its lack of quality at clubs. You can never get them to calibrate on tractor because there was dent tone arms or bad RCA cables, or the grounding was screwed up or something, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you
Mo
guys
and I
remember
had a
that,
pretty much similar path on that one.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember that techno producer User? Remember those User records?
Yeah, absolutely.
How
Still
dope.
play
Who
User
was User? Do we know? We should have User on the show.
I don't know.
Let's find out.
Like
Does
like
anybody
USER.
I feel like I played with him at that club Distillery in
In
Leipzig.
Leipzig. Yeah.
Leipzig. Yeah, I think we were on the same lineup together.
We should wager whether we think User was from the UK or from Germany. What do you guys think? UK or Germany? User.
I think User was from the UK. Weren't the
UK.
records all from the UK?
I'm gonna wager that User was from the UK.
I think it was, but I don't know exactly.
And you know what's interesting is like talking about vinyl and your own vinyl collection and digitizing your own vinyl collection. You know, that's a gold mine of a catalog, like all the old User stuff.
Yeah.
There was like, wasn't a lot of the old User material. There were some that were released as lock grooves. And then there were some that like, when the track would get to the end, it would just loop forever.
Yeah.
Fuck, man, we got to pull out the old User records. The youngins won't know about those old User records, but
I was just digging through my collection and found a bunch of old Player records, and I was wondering who's Player.
who's Player?
And you
remember Player?
Remember Utility Plastics as well? Those were like,
yeah, I do
that was
remember.
like kind of like User as well. There was like these like sample DJ tools. I really like those records. Someone told me, I don't know if it's true, that some of the Utility Plastic stuff was Dave Function. I don't know if that's
No, he used to have that label,
his was Infrastructure.
Infrastructure New York.
No, but the Utility Plastic stuff was all anonymous. Like it was like User. It would just say User 1 or 2 or 3, and there was no producer name on it. And I think Dave was a part of the Utility Plastic.
I'm pretty sure User was lifted straight out of the Tron movie.
User.
User.
We should have Function on the show. I had no idea he was American. I thought he was.
Yeah, we should get Dave on. We should definitely get him on.
His stuff's unbelievable. Incredible. Way better music than Dave Clark's music. I mean, seriously, way fucking better. In a different league.
Guys, my beer's empty.
Get another one.
That's it. Shall I get another one?
Yeah.
That means
Dave Clark.
Then if I get another one, I have to go to the store.
Ah.
Yeah, I can take you with me to the store. That's a DJs and Beers show, isn't it?
It's still open. You can still buy beer at 10:30.
Let's find out.
Yeah.
Wait,
Somebody in the comments said User was a guy named Dean Cole.
Yeah.
I saw him at the works.
definitely English with that name.
Yeah. Richard Harvey and Dean Cole.
Justin, is there a way that I can
Ulysses was
put myself
Abuser.
on my phone and go to the store?
Yeah, if you just click the link in our chat, like you should be able to open up Zoom on your phone. Like I'm on my iPad right now, so like, you should just be like this.
Matt, this is your
I'm waiting
action
for you.
item to get
Oh, I guess I
to get User on our
Hold
show.
on.
I'm just looking at it. I never knew this. I didn't know this stuff. So
Dean Cole's from Birmingham.
there you go.
Oh,
Hey, England, UK,
English.
Ali, you won.
In Little Britain.
because all the records were just basically just sampled loops and stuff.
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
just like total blatant ripoffs.
But they were pretty cleverly.
They were really clever,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they were really functional.
yeah. What was that?
So wait, guys, it's 10:30 here in Barcelona. It's after curfew, so obviously I
Yeah.
can't go out.
I still can.
Again,
I think in Germany you've got to 11, right? Is that right? I'm not sure.
what's
look at 2 of Chris.
Whoa! I'm on here twice.
oh my,
It's your twin. It's your
that's
bro.
so bizarre, man.
That is super bizarre.
That's really Chris.
Shall I stop one and
Yeah.
just go?
Chris, you should have Chris on the show as a
Yeah.
guest.
Surprise.
Wait, Chris.
How are you?
Chris,
Yeah.
ask yourself a question.
Which beer do you want to drink now? I'm going to get a pretty good lager. All right, I'm leaving. Bye.
It's funny because
Hey,
like you
I'm
don't
back.
have like a feedback loop. It's just like perfectly layered. So it sounds like a robot.
It's weird. There was not much delay.
No,
there-
it was just like layer on top of each other.
Yeah,
All right, I take you guys to the kiosk now.
kiosk.
So, Matt, is there a curfew in Berlin at the moment?
Yeah, I think it's 11, right? I think same everywhere in Germany, maybe.
What? There's a curfew?
Well, not a curfew, but as in, I think with buying beer, with buying alcohol, I think it's supposed to be 11 o'clock,
No,
right?
like I mean, like
Oh,
straight
curfew. No, we haven't yet had that,
Oh.
but it's looking like it may happen. Who
You
knows?
guys are lucky.
Yeah.
Wait, so
But everything's
Germany
shut.
or Berlin?
The schools are shut. Everything's shut now. So, but
there's no curfew?
no curfew, but no drinking. I think after 11 on the streets. And blah, blah,
Oh, okay.
blah. That's,
That's something that they do in Berlin.
yeah.
Walking on the street.
Yeah. True. I mean, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
you know.
part of Berlin life, just drinking outside, even in the winter.
And do you know anybody in the UK right now with what they're going through?
Well, I mean, I think it's hellish. I mean, I think it's everyone's in lockdown and yeah, it's tough times as it is everywhere.
Yeah.
I'll give you a tough update about what's going on in LA for a second.
No.
These two.
So we've spoken in the past about how Skid Row has kind of grown out of Skid Row and become the city, but I just recently discovered that down south towards South Central, there are entire neighborhoods and warehouse districts that are surrounded completely by RV trucks. And all these RV trucks are now families who've been evicted from their houses and have rented an RV truck and are now living on the streets.
Shit.
But
I mean,
they're
it must surely.
mass.
What's the cost of renting an RV truck? I mean, it still must cost money, right?
I'm sure it does because I'm pretty sure maybe someone still has a job or is living off unemployment but is not making enough money to pay LA rent prices.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean they're
There's-
essentially homeless people living in the street. Well, not homeless because you're in an RV truck and it's not like Skid Row where it's dirty and people are living in tents,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you know, it's neighborhoods and neighborhoods filled with RV trucks of people who just don't have anywhere to go.
Dude,
Wow.
just around the corner from my in my neighborhood, there's homeless cabins on the side of the highway, and I see people that come out of there and get into cars and then like drive off and then come back. So like there's people that have cars and probably work that just
Right.
live there. I'm assuming. Maybe it's
Yeah.
but I think I have a feeling that could be it. They're just like, well, I can live here with these people for free and then still go to work and get a paycheck.
Yeah.
The amount of people in Los Angeles who are living out of their cars right now and like waking up and going to work and coming back home and sleeping in their cars is a lot more than most people know.
Yeah. I
By
was,
the
I was
way,
just reading.
that's the
it's
entrance
like-
to my club.
Wow.
It's not a legal club.
It's the club. I'll take you. 1
And
second.
I mean, even Matt just shared a link the other day that now paramedics are now not taking everybody to the hospital who are sick because if they
Yeah.
don't look like they're going to survive, the hospitals are too full to take any more people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just reading. I guess it's like 30 to 40 million people in America are like facing evictions next like 3 months or something like that. Depending on how this next bailout stuff happens, but if something doesn't happen, then yeah, a lot of people are going to lose their home. Just
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah.
So,
I'm
so
sure-
Mo, what's the vibe in LA right now?
I mean, I guess it depends on what neighborhood you live in, right? Because if you live in Beverly Hills and everything's hunky dory, it's like, oh, you know, whatever, this will be over in 6 months and we're going to get a vaccine and life's going to go back to normal. Then I literally have friends that I've known for 25 years, you know, throughout various jobs I've had through schools and studios who called me just in the last few days just to say Merry Christmas. They're like, dude, I don't know if I'm going to be homeless in the next week or so. So there's definitely an umbrella of depression, and I don't think this is just only LA. I think this is throughout the entire United States, but I can only speak of what I see personally of what's going on in the city, and it's rough, man. Everyone who's been unemployed this whole last year, who've been skimming by on just receiving unemployment checks from the government. This year, their unemployment is running out.
Yeah.
So we're in another year of a pandemic where there's no works and we're in lockdowns and shutdowns, except there's no financial help. And that's what I was trying to say earlier, that this year, in a lot of ways, for most people, is going to be 10 times harder than last year.
Yeah. And did you know
I think we're
Canada
really
was,
entering the worst phase of everything.
and did you know Canadians were getting 2,000 a month since all this is like started, you know, and they're just, you know, working out like we've gotten $1,800 in a year.
I shared a link with you guys that in the United States, 14 million people have lost they've lost medical insurance, and almost every other country in the world has not. They have 0 people who've lost medical insurance. So not only are people poor, but they're broke, but they also don't have any medical insurance if they do get sick.
Yeah.
So if you get COVID and you have to go to the hospital, then you're going to end up going home with like a $150,000 bill.
Wow. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, all that stuff was shocking that you forwarded us, Mo. Like the stats comparing the U.S. Versus the rest of the world. Matt, what's the vibe in Berlin right now? I mean, the clubs have been closed for.
It's been since what? It's been a gradual lockdown over the sort of since end of October, beginning of November. But it's just really quiet. I mean, it's incredibly quiet. I mean, Berlin is such a sociable and easy city, to get around, and but the restaurants are shut, and I think the whole restaurant industry is like in a lot of places it's completely destroyed. I'm not sure whether some of the restaurants will be able to recover.
How's the German government been with like support and stuff through all this?
It's great. I mean, it's really good.
Which should I get?
All of it.
Dave?
Hasenhill.
I can barely see what he has, but I'm assuming it's all just
This is a first, ladies and gentlemen. A trip to the
beer store.
It's all German.
The beer story.
It's our new vlog.
Well, actually get beer. Yeah, I know.
Chris, is that the place that you?
It's actually. Well, this is just a place around my corner here.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, it's mostly German beers, mostly German lagers, really, really good ones. And I'm a fan of the Hasenhelles, which is pretty good, but I still have to wait to pay now.
Dave, is your fridge stocked like that? Fridge?
Can you guys still hear me?
Not right now.
Yeah.
No?
But I need to stock up. I'm running low.
Are you salivating at the sight of that?
Yes. I wish I had a refrigerator like that. I can just go and grab a beer, and that would be pretty amazing.
Do you have you don't have a dedicated
nice to have a fridge like this.
For your beer, right?
I just bought one.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
It's a small one. It's a mini one. It holds it because I buy mostly cans anyway, so it holds like 50 cans.
50.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
So you get like a special one for bottles because it's like the height.
I mean, I can lay them down, but I really don't buy many bottles. A lot of the breweries are here. They put everything in cans now. So
what's the reason behind that, David? With the can versus bottle,
it keeps the beer fresher and lasting longer because of light. That's the culprit of beer going bad is light.
Yep.
So,
same with sake.
That's why even if a beer is in a bottle, it's a dark bottle.
Yeah.
So less light hits it.
Yeah, because UV, right?
So a can.
That's the reason why this beer went bad. This thing tastes like
went sour.
This thing's
Good enough,
And canning for storage, it's a lot easier as well. Smaller, and you can save more space in a warehouse with cans.
Right.
It's lighter.
Oh yeah, the weight. I was gonna say the weight is the major one.
It's basically a mini keg. A keg is aluminum, and it's a tiny mini keg. Yeah. But in the U.S., because of COVID and so many breweries are producing canned beers now, that there was even a can shortage going on for a while.
Oh.
Yeah, I heard about that. The aluminum. Yeah. Yeah,
aluminum, and the bigger breweries are the ones buying up all the cans. So some breweries kind of got asked out, so they'd only sell to go like growlers and stuff like that.
Yeah, I remember somebody was complaining because like aluminum foil went up like a quarter.
It's all in your yard. It's all in your bins.
Yeah, it's funny because like I all the empty cans I give to my mom because she recycles them, and she's like she makes money off of it.
David, can you get like you do a lot of these craft beer breweries? Do they have kegs that are available of like their best selling brews?
Yeah, depends. I guess it depends on the brewery, but yeah, you can buy full kegs for sure. They'll sell you a full keg.
I think I'm gonna do a keg party at my house.
Just get the hand pump. Get
Yeah,
the
like
Ollie's gonna be doing keg stands.
Justin, remind me when I get back to DC.
I'll just say when you get back, we'll set up the studio space.
Yeah.
I need a picture of that shit, man.
Get the funnel, and just do
Oh, beer bong.
Beer bong. There you go.
God, I haven't seen one of those in.
I used
Fast
to-
times at Ridgemont High over here.
Yeah.
Ali, is everything shut again in Barcelona? Are all the restaurants shut again?
It's like a disaster here, man. Like, I don't understand. I was just talking to my friend who's like he's not from Barcelona. He's a trauma surgeon in LA who's really into music. I've known him for a long time. And he was just, he doesn't understand why it's so bad in LA. And he was talking to his friends in the medical profession in Florida and in Texas, in other parts of the world, in Dubai. And everyone's got it under control over there for whatever reason. So I don't know. In Barcelona, it's quite bad. I mean, I was in Ibiza for the last week, and starting today, they moved the curfew up from midnight to 10 p.m.
Okay.
But
I mean, but are there restaurants open or is everything shut? Or...
yeah, it's still only breakfast and lunch, 2 hours, from 7:30 to 9:30, and then from like 1:30 to 3:30, and that's it.
Wow.
A takeaway, or you can sit down in there.
You can sit down, but they're at I don't think 30% capacity or something like that.
Right.
I don't know how they can survive on that.
They can't. They can't. It's a fucking disaster.
Well, I saw you were record shopping over Christmas. I mean, so the shops are open, or how?
Well, that's what doesn't make sense. You could go record shopping, and like I went to Fnac, it was packed.
Really? That's
I mean, you
open?
go to, dude, any shop you go to, the shops are open all day. They're packed, but like you can't go to a restaurant.
Same
Wow.
in LA.
That's nuts.
I can go to a clothing store or the mall. Even the mall is open.
Yeah, it's like that here too.
Nothing.
There's like a line to go into Target.
Yeah, nothing makes sense out here
Yeah.
or
Anywhere.
Yeah.
Like,
I think at some point people are just so desperate to survive in their business that they're just ignoring certain protocols, and they're just
I think they
"Fuck it,
should.
we're going to stay open. We're just going to do our business until someone comes here and tells us to shut down. I'm just going to keep on working."
But even the police in LA, they say they're not really going to enforce it.
How could they? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're going to drive around looking for restaurants that are open. I don't know.
well, it's like when they threatened to cut off utilities if you had to get together.
But that was the mayor saying like if there's a mansion party in the Hollywood Hills, and they'll cut off your power.
Yeah.
But they've been breaking up warehouse parties, like
Really?
or people are
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we just found out that there was a huge
Cheers, Chris.
There you go,
Cheers,
Chris.
guys.
there's still a massive amount of underground warehouse parties going on in LA during this pandemic, and they seem to be
Wow.
organized mostly by these Russian promoters who have just appeared out of nowhere. I don't know where they came from, but they just appeared out of nowhere and they started doing events, and they don't book any headliners or big DJs, but they just book their friends, and
Awesome.
anybody who wants to party just kind of shows up. And unfortunately, there's been quite a bit of shutdowns. Cops have been shutting down these parties, which gives a really bad look to underground parties in LA in a whole. So it's not necessarily a good thing, although they should be shut down.
Who has a lawnmower going on in the background?
It's Mo.
It's me the same time every single day. The dude comes by, so
Every Thursday.
yeah.
I was gonna say the guy
Association.
cuts the grass every day.
You pay an association fee. They check their times, man.
It's crazy. Like when we started this back in, it was the end of March, right?
Yeah.
last year. Did you guys think that we would still be in the same position all these months later?
Not really.
I kind
Nearly
of thought
a
it's
year.
going to take long,
Yeah.
and I think by the fall I already suspected that this phase we're entering now will be the worst phase of the pandemic. From what Mo says, because we're all and everybody is running out of resources sooner or later, and the infection rates are just going up, and the virus is literally more present now than ever before on this planet. This is insane. Like I kind of gathered that already, but in March I think we were all still under the impression that yeah, maybe in September we can play some gigs again.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. I mean, if we would have thought logically, it would be like, yeah, there was not going to be a vaccine. I mean, there was always kind of the chance that this virus just simply disappears, right? There was a slight chance. No.
Yeah, I mean, we've
Ali,
had this
you're
situation with, like,
smiling.
Spanish
You're
influenza and
smiling,
stuff.
Ali. What's going on?
I just had a funny thought. Like, Chris, like I was gonna ask, like, if like at any time during this pandemic, like when you're talking to your vegan friends, are you talking
Your vegan friends.
like, are you talking what a fucking mess these dumb meat eaters have created for all of us? Like, do you ever just get really angry at meat eaters?
No, just at the bad eaters.
At the bad eaters?
Yeah.
Didn't they
Picture of the cave.
cause?
What?
Wasn't that all bullshit? The whole bat from Wuhan
I
wasn't
think
that?
Bat
no one
pangolin.
will ever find out.
Oh,
I
thought that
don't know
said
where Ground Zero is. Some people say it comes from North Carolina.
what?
Yeah,
Are you
that
just
like
saying that, or
there's
is
like
that
the whole
for real?
the whole conspiracy theory. It was like this something out of Duke, and then basically the Wuhan, like there's a group of Wuhan scientists in North Carolina working on this. They got their funding cut, and so they brought it back to Wuhan, and then it spread. It was one of those Bill Gates conspiracies.
Bill Gates. There's so much misinformation just thrown around. It's crazy, man. And people people run with it.
You know what the secret is? It's just not giving a flying fuck.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
just wondering, like, how are we going to approach this situation or this year now? And I think Mo just gave the answer.
What?
Let's just not like I mean, it's so easy to be drawn into this misery, and I speak from my own experience, especially lately. Sometimes you just have these moments where you just start like, what is actually going on? Like when I literally really miss touring by now. I mean, in the beginning, I was a little bit more like, oh, great, we have a little break, and I would never taken this break voluntarily. And it's pretty good after 20 years to maybe slow down for a little bit, and we'll soon go and tour again.
Yeah.
But since 3 months, I start to be really like, what is going on? Like, I really miss this. I miss those fucking late nights. I miss those little disco naps, those 5 minutes sleeping and then be ready and be super tired in the car, being picked up, going to the club, sitting there like, oh, I don't want to talk to anyone, but you have to go in there and everybody's talking to you and everything is there. I miss this. I just really badly miss this. Having a tequila with a promoter and just like going out there and just like mixing the next kick drum in and just seeing what happens, and everything is unpredictable, and it's just fucking taking too long by now, and it just puts you into this misery. And then additionally you start thinking like, oh my god, like how am I going to continue? Like you've had all these projects, or you have these projects, we have labels, we have albums, we have music that we produce, like how are we going to go on? And it's just it's so overwhelming at times. And additionally, some of us have families, there's pressure from this side to be there to do this. You make decisions. Okay, I'm going to spend some time there now, do this. Is that the right thing to do? Is that the wrong thing to do? What the fuck am I doing? And it's just getting worse. And I think really like, just trying to stay sane is really, really, really difficult at the moment. And I think moments like these, literally like doing our DJs and Beers shows, is really helpful. Yeah. Seriously helpful. It just like keeps you grounded in a way, talking to you guys, and not like trying not to give too much fucks, I think is also a good idea always. Just
Yeah,
to be in the present moment.
I think my point earlier about not giving a fuck is not caring about mundane things, about where this started or who's doing this, and it's more about focusing on what you can do now to contribute to a solution and not to where the problem began. But in general, I think
absolutely. I'm sorry if I interrupt, but I never meant not giving a fuck, not giving a fuck about the virus. Absolutely, give a fuck about the virus. Wear your fucking mask. Stay away from people. And let's get this over as soon as possible. Giving not a fuck is more like not giving a fuck about thinking about the misery.
Yeah, that's a given.
I think Chris, you pretty much verbalized how we all feel, and like how we felt, for the last 10 months, 11 months to this point. That's pretty much how I feel. Like I'm just fucking, I miss it so much.
And it's not just us though, it's everybody, because earlier, like, Ali asking like, what's the vibe in LA? What's the vibe in Barcelona? What's the vibe in Berlin? Dude, what's the vibe of, even through social media, of seeing all of our colleagues? I've never seen a level of narcissism grow to the extent that it has now. And I don't mean that in a negative connotation. I mean, in terms of, you can actually, if you read between the lines and see the cracks of what all of our colleagues are tweeting and what our friends are saying and speaking, and you see the frustration, the negativity, the positivity, you can almost feel the tension and the suffering amongst everyone. It's very significant, and it exists, I think everyone's going through it. Everyone's feeling it in one way or the other. Some people miss some things more than the others, but at the end of the day, we're all going through this shit.
Yeah. I mean, this is the time to adapt and evolve. It's like historically, when society's in like these really down moments, this is like when the most creative things come out, out of society. It's when things are great and dandy, people get complacent. So it's like a weird situation. It's like it's sad, but it's like the only thing you can do is evolve.
Way to put a happy spin on it, Justin. I was enjoying the activity.
I'm sorry, I should let you guys say emo. I was like, I just read.
I was enjoying the discussion, Justin. You just ruined it for me.
Sorry to put a smile on your face.
But it's an interesting point. It's an interesting point you bring that up about evolving and changing during times. It's like, do you think music will change?
I don't think music will change. I think how we express it will change. It's like, like the traditional of like, the party, that stuff is missed. I mean, like fans and artists alike, it's like we all just miss it, but at the end of the day, like people still want that connection. So it's like, how do you deliver that with what we have right now? Like how can you guys do you, and how can the fans like enjoy the artists that they love without having that physical, connection? I think that's what everyone's trying to figure out right now. It's kind of the exciting part. I mean, because even when things get back to normal, like I don't think people will ever leave them as vulnerable as they did before. Like then not everyone's gonna put all their eggs in one basket anymore. They're not gonna. This just showed how vulnerable the industry is. And
I don't think we're ever gonna go back to normal. I think we're gonna probably someday go back to a new normal. But I don't know if anything is ever going to go back. Nothing's ever going to go back to the way it was before.
Yeah, sad.
I just mean like what my question was like more like in dance music in general. It's like with no clubs and not being able to experience club music, is there going to be this new version of club music, quote unquote, or is stuff going to get more, I don't know, experimental or just even
David, is there going to be a new version of you? Like
no,
seriously, I'm thinking about myself too. The first times we go out and like more or less regularly until do you know already what kind of music you're going to be playing? Like maybe all our styles have evolved for some reason. And
I mean, I love what David's doing. I mean, you're so prolific at the moment. It's amazing. The label's amazing, and all the stuff's incredible.
And that's pretty awesome. Music. But David, it's pretty awesome to notice, because I remember in the beginning of our shows in March, April, up till maybe July, you were like, you had nothing to do with producing. You were just like out of it. You were just like out of it. And I mean, I'm not talking about Matt. Matt is a machine, and he's just like a super machine with producing and putting out stuff with the label. But you pretty much like completely reinvented yourself completely and just like push the boundaries. How did you do that? When did this thing happen with you?
I think it was like in a little bit after the summer.
Yeah, because I remember in the beginning, David, you were like,
I wasn't doing shit.
we kept asking you, how are you doing creatively, whatever. You're like, man, I can't. Like,
Nothing.
you were like it. But then when was that? When did that change happen for you, where you tapped into that well of creativity that you had before, or maybe a new well of creativity?
I think it's when I came to the realization that I'm gonna keep making the music that I enjoy, regardless if it's for clubs or not. You know, I mean, it's for clubs, but even though there is no clubs, I'm like, you know what? Even if there's no clubs, I realize that, just like we were talking about earlier, is like the people that buy our music or consume our music are not all clubbers. They listen to it in their cars, or they're bedroom DJs where they just spin this music at home, you know, for themselves or for friends, and making podcasts and stuff like that. So I'm like, why should I care if it's going to be played in a club or not? I'm still going to make this music that I love to make, and I'm going to do what I want to do. And even if there's no clubs to really listen to it on a loud sound system, who cares, man? I'm just going to keep putting these tracks out. People are going to enjoy them. They're going to consume it regardless, in their own way, in headphones, on a laptop, on a little speaker, or you know what I mean, and on a live stream. So I'm just going to keep music.
You guys see what's the Jerry Maguire, when who's the character that like Tom Cruise was managing, and there's all this shit going on, like he was shit hot. It wasn't Cuba Gooding Jr., it was the other guy.
Oh, okay.
And there's all this shit going on, and Tom Cruise's character is in the thick of it. And then the guy who he's representing was just like, I just want to play football, Jerry. I don't know about all this other stuff. I just want to play football. I don't
exactly. And that's kind of what I was like, man, I just want to make this music regardless. Like, I just got to make tracks, dude. That's what I want to do. And like, I needed to get my head around that, where in the beginning, where it was just like, I had no inspiration, because, you know, you'd make club music and you would test it in the club, or you would give it to a DJ and you get some feedback. And now it's just like, there's no clubs. And I just had to get over that hill where, you know what, I'm still just going to make tracks regardless. Like, fuck it.
I've got to say, though, that's always been David's best secret weapon for as long as I've known him. Just being in the circle of friends who are making techno, and you hear all these arguments where friends are like, oh, well, I'm trying to make something more innovative, and I'm trying to push the limit, and I'm trying to do this. And at the end of the day, it boils down to David's just like, dude, it's just techno. I mean, like, and it's like, at the end of the day, it's so simple, and it's just like, fuck, dude, I hate you for, you know, just boiling it down. It's true. It's just,
I think that's one of the revelations.
To reinvent the wheel or anything. I'm just making tracks,
dude, you're totally right. That one of the revelations I had this year. It's just like, don't try to reinvent the wheel all the fucking time. Just put the hi-hat in the middle and the kick drum there and some bass line there, and just do it, you know?
Yeah. You know, and people enjoy it. People love it, you know?
Yeah. Well, people like to get all caught up in the mysticism of it all, but, you know.
Yeah.
I think the secret, I think, is just to realize what's happening, where you are in the midst of what's happening, and just kind of accept it and embrace it. And then, you know, shit will happen.
Exactly.
Positive shit will happen.
But do you think,
right? Instead of being a warrior?
But do you think this idea translate with all dance music, like just techno and house and drum and bass? Like, are people still trying to find ways to innovate and do something different, or a lot of people just going, fuck it, I'm just going to make club music regardless?
I think it depends where you. I mean, I think there are different trends. I think in the UK now, it's what they call it, like high street house. So because, of course, a lot of people are at home, so the music's becoming more poppy again. So it's this pop house tracks, a lot of vocals, and they're trying to obviously market it for radio, streaming platforms, more palatable, so maybe less underground. But, you know, I think with what you do, David, you know, for me, it's perfect party techno music. I love it, you know. So that's what I'm into. And I think if you're into, this is the thing, we live in a society where so much is manufactured, and you can tell from the music you make, that's what you love, you know. That's what's so great about it. You can't manufacture that shit, you know. It's it's from the heart, you know. That's what you do. And So
I think it's very just very specific to the genre and the
Yeah.
person making it. I mean, uh, it's just there's no way that you can ultimately say what's shaping or changing worldwide. I mean, I've been writing this album all year, and for me, constantly, it's just been more of a cathartic experience. So it's not always just about innovating or doing something new, or it's just about trying to get whatever I'm feeling out of me and into some sort of physical place in another, you know, another way to express it somehow, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, so the art form is there. I guess we just gotta do what we do with it, if that makes any sense.
Just got to play
Any-
football, Jerry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to play football, man.
Any other revelations any of you had over the year 2020 that you want to talk about?
I think, like, for me, I never thought I could take a month off. And here we are, like, 10 months in to this thing. And
But do you feel, Ali, do you feel like you've actually, apart from the touring, do you feel like you've actually had a holiday or taken time off? Because I don't
No,
feel like it's for
because
me.
I don't know, like, I'm a workaholic by nature, and
I think we
I
all
really
are,
took
right?
it. Yeah, I really took advantage of it, and I'm a multitasker. I really took advantage of this time just to embrace and learn about all the things that I never had time to do before. So, and then I had to have people around me be like, look, right now you got time off, so just relax. You don't have to always do this or that. I always got people telling me that, just because I'm so wired to constantly, we talked about this before on previous shows, like this constant state of motion that we find ourselves in, you know, hustling from one gig to the next,
Yeah.
and hustling in between, studio and running labels and meetings and other things, other projects that we have going on. So I miss the hustle. I miss the motion. And I found that in all these other extracurricular activities. And I've added some, you know, light travel on top of that as well. So I've kind of found my happy medium. Of course, you know, there are times when you're thinking about where you are and where we're headed. It's still uncertain, but I'm pretty positive about this evolutionary change that, you know, like you guys were saying before. I think it's going to be different. Everything's going to be different. It's not going to be the same. What I do know is it's going to be fucking explosive when we do get back to it.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
But we all will be creating what is going to be different. Not only us, also the audience. Everybody together will be creating a new thing, and so it's in our hands of how this is going to turn out, what's going to be happening.
And we have to be responsible with that power. We're kind of we're ushering in this next chapter in this, you know, evolution of electronic music, techno, whatever. All the things that we're creating now, that's going to be that well of inspiration for future generations. And I think the music that's going to come out of this, the innovation is going to be unparalleled, you know?
You know, I think I hear a lot from a lot of people who try to reflect on this last year of 2020. A lot of people always constantly reflect on the positive things that they've done in terms of like, oh, you know, I went on a diet, or I lost weight, or I, you know, focused on my music, or I got closer to my family. And, you know, they always reflect on a positive aspect of it. But I just want to be real for a second, man. It's been tough this year. For real. It's been super tough. And to be frankly honest with you, I think I've wasted this whole year just waddling in my own misery for a second. And I think I'd like to just openly say that I hopefully for 2021 I can turn that around and try to build or climb my way out of this fucking hole, because I'm definitely not alone. And I know a lot of viewers are watching this. A lot of people have turned this negative situation to a positive, and a lot of people have just sank with it.
Yeah.
And if you have, there's no reason why you can't realize that what you've done this year is done, and it's time to turn it into a positive and try to move forward this year.
No, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
But Mo, we can feel you. But Mo, I mean, you're also in a special situation with a 3-year-old child at home. It's so demanding. That's the age where children are most demanding.
Yeah. I mean, as a matter of fact, my son's been a positive light in everything, because I'm glad that I've been able to spend the time that I have with him. But there's just so many dynamics that have changed during this. I mean, for instance, I've pretty much spent the last 15 years of my life on the road and never being around the people that I live with for longer than a week at a time. And then now we have to completely rearrange our situation where now we're together all the time. And that changes family dynamics. It makes things difficult sometimes, and relearning how to live with each other again. So a lot of things change,
I think it's and I grapple with this all the time. It's all a matter of perspective. You can choose to view something in a positive light or a negative light. Obviously, there are certain circumstances to a situation that will dictate how you view that, but that you always have a choice.
Sure.
A lot of times I find myself angry or frustrated or whatever, and then something will kind of snap me out of it, whether it's a thought or like I'm walking down the street and I see someone, half my age in a wheelchair or blind or whatever. And I imagine the kind of hardships that they have to go through. And you need that.
Absolutely. That always puts things into perspective. But the only reason why I say what I just said right now is because sometimes for some people out there, it's difficult to always hear positive projections from everyone about everything. And, sometimes it's for people out there, it's like, you're not alone, Not everything is so hunky dory, and we're not all enlightened by this, terrible situation, but at least you can make an effort to turn it around at some point. It's never too late to turn it around. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think maybe the wrong approach is like projection. I don't think we should project. I think in accepting the present moment, in living in the present moment, will inform somehow the future and will somehow make a projection or a prediction about how we're going to come out of this and what the landscape is going to look like in the future. So I'm trying to be more in the present these days, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the teaching, to be in the present moment more for every one of us. But it's so interesting to see that each one of us and each one of our viewers probably as well, everyone has a different, ended up in a different situation in this pandemic, Like Mo just said, he's been touring all the time and he's ending up with his loved ones like on one spot for the majority of time. For me, it was completely the other way around. My kids and ex-wife moved away in February, basically putting me in a situation that I was completely alone. They were living next door the whole time, completely alone. The pandemic started right after, and I found myself like completely alone. But everybody has his own challenges, but all these challenges lead to actually only one solution: be in the present moment. Like just forces you more to be in the present moment and not to worry too much about what's going on, what happened, and what should you do. You still do this, I still do this like crazy, but I think it points there. It definitely points there for each one of us, and everyone is on their own path. It's so interesting to see, and that's why it's so unpredictable to see what the outcome is.
Sure.
That's true.
Now, Chris, you're like, I know sometimes when I feel frustrated with the lack of whatever's happening or where I'm going, whatever, sometimes you're like, I I talk to you and you're like, I have a feeling that things will somehow, it's a bit utopian, but like sometimes I take comfort in that perspective. Like you're like, I kind of feel like somehow things are going to work out.
Yeah.
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 And and when I think about that, I'm like, you know what? Things have kind of worked out. It's been hard in the past. Of course, we've all dealt with struggles. But, in the end, did I really need to worry excessively about this or that? Somehow it worked out. Sometimes it works out to your favor. Sometimes it doesn't. But in the end, we're somewhat intelligent, confident, talented, hopefully, people, and somehow the chips will fall in the right place. And
Exactly. And I think if you learn to let go of ideas and all these things, we all had our ideas, the ideas of getting a new car, getting another place, moving there, doing this, and it all just vaporized.
Yeah.
Vaporizing again. It all vaporized, and you just have to learn to let go of these ideas and just embrace whatever's going to come new. But it's so hard sometimes. It's so difficult. And when I tell you that, for example, I tell you that because I want to hear it myself.
Yeah.
I know. I can tell you're not telling me because you really believe it. You're telling me because
I do believe it, but I want to live it more.
I feel like you say it because it makes you feel better when you say it, when you verbalize it.
Yeah.
And in turn, it makes whoever you're saying it to feel a little bit better. Because at the end of the day, nobody knows shit about where we're headed,
no one knows
what we're in for. I mean, the only thing we can control is the present,
Yeah.
Ooh, that's deep thoughts with juice. Yankee juice. Deep thoughts with.
Of course.
Okay.
That's so weird, Justin. People say they can't hear you.
I can hear
you. We can all hear him. Guys, what are you saying?
Yeah, I can hear Justin, but maybe the people on this. Yeah, everyone's saying,
Yeah.
"Juice, speak up."
But he's loud as fuck over here, man. I'm like,
And he was so philosophical, like deep right now, and you couldn't hear it, guys. Can you hear us? No?
Guys, sorry, Justin's got a janky.
People are saying, "Can't hear it."
Something.
So Chris, how's it going with you with your album? Is that going to come out this year?
This is going to definitely come out this year. I actually had a talk with Daniel yesterday.
Cool.
And we're planning on, we had a funny conversation. Daniel Miller, that is, the boss of Mute Records.
Well, we're going to have on our show, hopefully.
Absolutely. Oh, totally. But I'm going to wait for the best moment to promote the album in the best possible way. And, I mean, we all love the old days with albums, that people were still buying albums, that there was the days before internet where you had to go to a store and you just saved some money and you got the album and you went home and you were listening to from the beginning to the end, and you weren't tempted to just like skip through to listen to the first 15 minutes and then I listened to the next album and the next album and the next album. You only had that one, so you were just getting the most out of it. And these days are over, and we all miss these days in a way, because there was an experience that was unique. And I've for myself learned a lot about music listening to full albums. And to understand what producers were thinking and musicians were thinking when they created it. And so obviously I think we all still love to create albums. And I love to create an album, and I love to create an album. It's a 10 track album from beginning to the end. And we put a lot of thought in there, like what track order it's going to be and everything. But Daniel basically said, like, we're going to release it in the fall. Yeah. But but it's not like it used to be with an album. So it's going to be like, we're going to release the first single in March, then the next single in May, and then the next single in July, and then maybe another one just right before you release the album. So it's basically not, the album experience maybe comes at the very end for those people who really are still interested, but you have these singles coming out before. So this is what's going to be happening.
But this is all to do with Spotify and about the promotion and the rules and things like that.
That's how it's always been. It's always been released the first single, the second single, the third single, and
but not that crazy. It's been not that wild, because now you have to really think of different. We're now thinking of different versions for Spotify.
Yeah.
So you have to have different versions. They need to meet different requirements to end up in certain playlists. It's a weird, the funny thing was Daniel said, like, I hate that stuff. But we still want to get our music across, so we have to kind of play this game. And
no, that's the most important thing, isn't it? It's getting yourself heard, getting the music played, that it just doesn't just.
Yeah. But I still hope at the end
disappear.
There's enough people, or the hardcore music fans out there, who still feel like Justin mentioned also, like the Laurent Garnier psychedelic rock album, to listen to an album from the beginning to the end. And it's so much fun with Laurent's album. By the way, some people were asking in the comments when this is coming out. I have no fucking clue. Did Laurent tell us when this is coming out? I'm not sure if he did. But it's just such a nice album also to listen from the beginning to the end, and the order makes sense to me. And it's just like, I really recommend to all you listeners out there, any album that you get your hands on, just try to listen to it from the beginning to the end in the order that the producer had in mind, like from 1 to 10. It's an experience, and it maybe sometimes you need to have some patience, and you have to, but it's definitely, and I still hope in fall, when the whole album will be released, that enough people will still be interested in me.
I mean, I agree 100% with you. Like, throughout this whole pandemic, especially when I came to Barcelona, I've been making weekly trips to the record store, and I have this like amazing Thorns turntable now and a great sound system to play albums on. And I take a great comfort in, just like spending hours in a record store, not like looking for dance music, just looking for like, music with, I don't know, mainly a lot of classic music, but like finding classic albums, and then coming home and like, it's like you're buying it maybe for the third or fourth time. But you're listening to it like in a new context, at whatever age you are nowadays. And it still sounds amazing when you put on a record, and then the side finishes, and you're in the middle of cooking or doing whatever, and then you got to get up and go over and flip the record over and put the other side on. And then, you may sit down and study the credits like you used to, look at the artwork. And it's an incredible reconnection to why I fell in love with music in the first place. Absolutely. And I think everyone should try that. I think the album format, hopefully, during this time, will be far more appreciated than it has been in the past.
Yeah, we should definitely work on that. But talking about listening to stuff, I just realized, remembered that I really love your dub stream playlist on
mine.
It's so fantastic. It basically, I saved that link at the same time I saved the link for Laurent's album. And I've been listening to this too, because sometimes I think Spotify playlists can have the same effect almost a little bit, There is an artist who put a lot of thought into this playlist, And so everyone out there, Dubfire has a dub. What is it exactly called?
The dub stream. And I'm just kind of thinking out loud. It'd be great to have like one of my heroes, Adrian Sherwood, who worked on a lot of the mute.
Wow.
Remix mute art. He worked with a lot of mute artists on some classic remixes, and a lot of other like industrial artists like 9 Inch Nails and Pankow and stuff like that. It'd be great to have him on the show. Just
and
to kind
Skinny
of
Puppy. And Skinny Puppy.
Did Adrian work with? Yeah, for sure he did.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Sure.
Can you guys that are watching this, can you hear me now? I'm not used to being in front of the camera, so I muted my mic for you guys.
We heard you before.
Yeah, well, so it's
Well,
like because I have Ecamm and then Zoom,
very low.
so like yeah.
Okay, you're really low, but Justin, I think everybody can hear you now. Can you repeat your super deep thoughts with this book right now?
Yeah, hopefully you guys can hear me now. Yeah, I'm getting a bunch of yeses. Yeah, so basically there's this book called Man's Search for Himself. I weirdly found this. It's like a first edition, so like it was written in the 50s. And basically it was a study by a psychotherapist who studied the comparison between creativity and social norm. So and basically that as society is at a very tough spot, where economy's bad, things are bad, tends to be the most creative time in history. And as the economy's good, things are complacent, things become more systematic, I guess you can say, versus creative. And so it's just a really good book to kind of like navigate through circumstances and kind of like, try to take a lot of this internal dwelling energy that you're having and direct it towards something, and like absolutely put like your energy into something.
I'm going to send it to Dave Clark for his birthday.
I mean, that's essentially why so many albums have been so touching over the years, is because of the cathartic experience that the artist had.
Yeah, I mean, if you just look out through history, like in the 60s, the 70s, I mean, the 30s,
blues music through the Great Depression, and all that stuff is when you pour your heart and soul into what you do, and then people can use your music as a way to channel their own angst. It's always been something that's reached deep into every music lover and enjoy person's heart and soul.
Well, it touches a different part of people, versus just like, oh, this is a dope techno track. It's like, no, that track touched me. It's like totally different. So read it.
Justin, do we have any interesting questions from viewers?
I mean, luckily they just like hang out with themselves, which is cool. So it's like they kind of just like talk with themselves.
I just read a question when this fucking fantastic, amazing Radio Slave remix of Card House is coming out.
When is it coming out, Chris?
I have no fucking clue. But
Daniel,
I very much hope soon. There's a Marco Farona remix and a Radio Slave remix is
of what? Of what song?
Of Card House, from my last album.
Oh, I thought you said Grindhouse. I was like, what?
No, it's called Card House. It was a ripoff of Grindhouse, and it's also with a vocal. That's why I just totally ripped it off. And Matt did this absolutely insane 15 minutes.
I think it's like 12 minutes actually.
12 minutes, and
maybe.
And an additional ambient version, which is just insanely. I'm going to be playing it on Saturday if anybody wants to.
What time are you starting on Saturday, Chris?
At 10.
10, nice.
And I bought a new LED strip to spice things up.
It? Just
are you going to be using the Pioneer mixer?
Maybe.
Wow.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm a model. I'm a Model 1 guy, dude. Model 1.
CDJs.
Cool.
Sometimes it's cool carrying a bunch of extra gear.
You can see it in the background.
Is anyone else doing any streams this weekend?
I fucking hate streams so much.
Why?
They're so boring. They're so boring, Chris. So boring. But
I watched your streams. You were never bored.
I can't do it for more than an hour because it's so boring. I don't think people realize how boring it is.
It's because it's just you and then everyone's watching you. Just stand there.
I mean, I share Laurent's perspective on it. It's like our music is meant to be shared with an audience. It's that chemistry.
But I see from a radio perspective.
Yeah, I see your.
I agree. Radio. It's the same radio show.
I see your your streams as more like that because they you go through so many different music styles. They go on for a long time. But I mean, I agree. I mean, I saw one of the clips of like Nastia playing and like doing these things in wherever, and it just doesn't work.
I mean, like
because there's no one there apart from her.
Yeah, like
to the table.
I'll be honest with you guys. Like sitting down and playing reggae for an hour. That felt like radio. That felt like I'm beaming my signal out, and it felt comfortable. It
was
felt
great, and I
natural.
was being myself away while you're doing this. It was
But
amazing.
I'm sorry, but like playing banging techno to no one is just so fucking weird. I don't care.
But can I say
Like,
something?
that's-
I mean, here in Frankfurt, we grew up with a radio show called Club Night. It was the HR3 Club Night. It was a radio station here. And it started in the early 90s. And the first Club Night DJs were DJ Doug, Thorsten Fenslau, Sven Feth, Lady D.
Thorsten Fenslau is genius.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was a 3-hour radio show, and it was just club music. You played club music. And at some point in the early 2000s, I was invited to be like a resident on that show. And you were basically in the radio studio, and you were playing a 3-hour set. There was no one around, and you just played it for the people. And I essentially do exactly the same thing with my streams.
Yeah, but what year was that?
It was 2000.
I'll say this much. Let me just add this.
Yeah, but you had the gig like the day before, or you were gonna have a gig the day after.
Of course, but what's the difference? I mean, literally, it's just playing for people on the radio, essentially.
Yeah.
I'll say this much. I've shared the same feelings as Ollie several times about this as well, but at the same time, there's a lot of music in my techno collection that can sometimes be way too eclectic for the dance floor. And sometimes being able to play that music in the setting of a live stream can be fun. That's one thing. And the other thing is, I'll tell you this much. If we stop thinking about ourselves for a second, not too long ago, me and David got together with a group of our friends. It was a Saturday night, and it was just me, David, and 2 other people. And we were having some beers, and a friend of ours does a live stream Saturday nights, our buddy Centrific. And we tuned in, and we were watching like Hyperactive or one of our friends DJing, and we were having a great time just at the house, hanging, shooting the shit, drinking beers, and watching our friend DJ on a screen.
Yeah.
So for a lot of end users who don't get a chance to party, I think sometimes they appreciate it a lot more than we actually realize.
Yeah.
So that's the takeaway. Do it for the end user.
For the user.
But there's a lot I think a lot of it for me has to do with the setting and like why go to the lengths of having extreme settings when this is predominantly it's club music, right? So it would be better. I mean, I was with Boris the other day, the resident Berghain, and we were talking about streaming and why about Berghain, why they haven't done the streams and blah blah blah. And then we thought, well, why don't you should just do the lab streaming so the screen's just black. It's a dark room. So you
That's
just have
amazing.
the music. Just have the music.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. There's this. I guess there's this obsession with the visual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
but
like
but being on top of a mountain or being in a quarry or is that representative of the music as well?
No.
Yeah.
Well, and that's hard.
That's
just sensationalism.
No,
Yeah.
it just gives you a nice backdrop. You know, it just gives you something different to listen to.
It gives you.
I mean,
ultimately.
But ultimately, it started with radio. And when I did it, I did a radio show regularly, 4 hours every Friday on a satellite radio station called Eversonic Radio from 97 to 99 for 2 years. Every Friday, 4 hours. There was no visuals. There was just like sound. So you played 4-hour set. You were talking in between, in the meantime, like saying something. And then I started doing this HR3 Club Night thing. And because that was like this public broadcasting radio station, they also had cameras. So they were broadcasting on the 3rd channels in the German television.
Oh, wow.
So that was kind of streaming 20 years ago. It was just streamed on television. And maybe that is the reason why I have a different approach than Ali towards these things, because I see it as nothing new. I just do the same thing again, you know. I just set up my own studio, put up my own cameras, and I just play music. And people used to tune in 20 years ago like crazy. And they have fun now. I have fun, and it's a little bit like I do my own party for myself. And the positive thing is
at least
you don't have any weird conversations with anyone. There's nobody talking to you.
But at least I think with you, Chris, you've made the setting is correct for what it is. You're in your basement, you know, but you've got all your gear and it's real, you know, and you're not. It's not. You don't have drones and stuff, and you're not.
Well, you know, from that time, from that time I was saying about when we hung out with David, I remember even, which was more fun than just watching our friends DJ on the TV, was this particular stream that my friend Centrific did. He has a Zoom chat that anybody can join in.
Oh, wow.
And it was actually just joining into the Zoom chat with like hundreds of other people and just seeing all the faces. That was more entertaining than just watching someone DJ on the screen.
Yeah,
you know?
we used to do that when all this started. We would have like Zoom parties. Like one person would be DJing, basically like your live stream setup, but it'd be one of these windows on Zoom, and then just 100 people.
I mean, obviously this isn't the big solution for forever, but
duct tape.
It's novel, and for a short period of time through our lives while we're going through this, it certainly is entertaining to at least like create this false sense of community and being around a bunch of people listening to the same DJ playing music somehow.
Yeah, but it's not really a false sense of community, because the community in the chat room is pretty real. And
I think what I'm talking about is what I say when that is more the physicality of being in the physical presence of people and sharing that vibe, because sharing that vibe in a realistic setting and being shoulder to shoulder with someone on the dance floor is obviously a Zoom chat room talking to a bunch of people.
No, absolutely. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But it certainly can fulfill that sense of community for the time being. You know, it's not a forever solution for us.
Okay, Ali, here's what we do, Ali. You'll figure out a flight for a Saturday in February. You come up to Frankfurt, and we do an 8-hour back-to-back set here.
Good. I'm like, I was actually, while you guys were talking about this, I was thinking, why don't I just get on a flight to Germany and play back-to-back with you? Because playing back-to-back, at least you're sharing the experience with somebody in the room.
Yeah,
so
that's what I was gonna say. It's like
I'm
you can't
gonna make it
stream
happen
for streaming. Like you just need to it needs to be a party. Yeah.
But like, I guess we should maybe pose this question to the audience. Like,
you can sleep on my couch here.
No, I'm fine, man. I'm like, what is it? What is it that they want?
What?
Yeah. What is it that they? What turns them on as far as like the streaming experience?
Yeah.
Like right now, we don't have the clubs. So what is their perfect scenario for staying connected to the DJs that they love? And, you know, obviously we want some sort of a platform to be able to play all these new amazing promos and other records that we're buying and music that we're making and things. So what is perfect platform, you know?
I got to take a piss, be right back.
What's the perfect delivery mechanism to the audience? Short of the typical stream scenario, which is kind of played out.
I think people like being engaged with the artists somehow, because I've noticed like what Mo said with the with that stream with Centrific and the communion stream is like
were they engaging with their audience, or they were just playing?
Well, you know, they would have like comments from the audience showing up on the screen so everybody could see it, and you know, showing videos of people dancing. It would all of a sudden it would be a you know, some video of someone dancing. So like, oh, you know, it's like when you go, like, you ever watch those like games where you're, you know, in a stadium and a screen, and all of a sudden the camera's on them and they're on the big screen, they get excited and they're like, oh yeah, screen. So it's kind of that same kind of vibe, you know. And I think people like that, but I don't know.
On the comments, people are saying engagement, you know, interaction. So it's kind of like Ali, like when you used to do streams, but you'd also like chat with people, like not like shout out on the mic, but like you would type people, like people like that. And it's like Chris, like we're talking about the production stuff too. You know, people like that too.
There's some that like that, but I think a lot of people also just like to like, everybody's sitting alone at home, just to meet in the chat room of the YouTube channel or in the chat room of the Facebook channel, and just chat with each other while listening to maybe new music, new tracks. What is he playing? What is the latest promo? You know, interested in this. But Matt, you played some of those her sets. How was that for you? And how did you feel about that? Is that like a radio show for you?
It feels more like a little radio station.
That's what I think.
You're in this tiny little room, and I mean, it's done.
Is it a toilet? It looks like a toilet.
I think
think it used to
quite
be.
possibly could have been a toilet, but that's cool. I think they're in themselves. They're actually trying to, or they're about to announce their own platform. So because they can't stream on Facebook anymore, so it's only on, I believe, on YouTube, right? So there's no comments.
The band of Facebook.
But because of the content of the music, they
What's wrong with Facebook? Why are they so behind everyone else?
I'm sure I'm going to get banned on Saturday then.
So, but one of the things is that they're obviously streaming through YouTube, is that there's no live comments. So I think they've lost a lot of people, because that was the whole part of the vibe.
I was gonna say, and
The engagement.
like what both of you guys are saying. I think the reason why people are into it is it's a reason to all turn up together, no matter where you are in the world at a specific time, or you can jump in at any time during the broadcast, the live broadcast, and engage with one another. Yeah. So it's you're going back to the whole kind of chat room scenario, right?
Oh,
Ezra, hello, Ezra.
Hi, buddy.
Hi.
Hey,
Ezra.
Papa, because we're looking for Grandma and she's not anywhere.
Well,
Oh, sweet.
continue, guys. I'll mute my mic for a bit.
No, he's gone.
I think that's why it's interesting to the audience, is because there's a reason. It's like so and so's playing this weekend. Let's all go, and you go and you see your friends and you catch up, you meet new friends, whatever, and that's exactly what's happening virtually.
yeah.
In that environment, and we're the reason everyone's coming. Hopefully, we're the reason everyone's coming to engage with one another. And if we can engage with them, then that's a bonus, right? I guess that's the people want, right, Justin? Yes.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm gonna have to dip out for a second. My dad duties has arrived.
Okay.
All right. I think we should wrap it up, guys.
Yeah.
Wrap it up, B. David.
By the way, guys, I have
Is that a weed thing, Chris? Wrap it up.
I have a DJ masterclass out if anybody's interested.
Yeah, your
I see
Facebook
that.
ads keep popping up in my feed.
I see ads like
Nonstop.
30
Insanely
times a
annoying.
day.
Am I insanely annoying? Yeah.
Super
No,
annoying.
not at all. It's fun. Like, I know that guy.
Is that going well, Chris?
It's going really well. It's great.
It's been so seriously, doing this was so much fun. It was so revealing. I went down, because I cleaned out my basement before we actually added a mini documentary to it. And I found so much stuff, so much old stuff. There was this one little thing that happened. I was looking at videos when the Omen was closing, right?
Wow.
Like in '98, October '98, and the guys were asking me do you have any footage? And I'm like, yeah, there's footage on YouTube. And I'm looking at the footage at YouTube. And before that, I went down to the basement showing them my old audio records, because that was my first label, right? So they were saying oh yeah, show us the footage on YouTube, and I'm showing the footage on YouTube where Sven is dancing outside the Omen, and I'm basically telling him I remember that actually in that October date, that last night, that Sven at some point, I still had my records there because I was playing the same night there, because it was just a whole weekend. I was there the whole weekend. And Sven just needed a break from his set for an hour. And so he just said, I need a break, Chris, you play. And so there is this video on YouTube where he's dancing outside on the street on a speaker, because we had speakers on.
Oh, I've seen that. I've seen that one.
Yeah.
Can you put that up for everyone to watch?
I could.
I'm trying, and if you buy the masterclass, you will see it. And I'm listening to the track where he's dancing on the speaker, and I'm like, wait a minute, I know this track, and I'm just looking through my audio records, and I pull out Audio 11, which I did back in the days. It was released in '99 and in '98, just around that time, and then I realized fuck, it's me playing at the time that he's dancing on the speaker.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And it is actually, this is the same track. And I put the track on the turntable, and the guys, like the camera team and everybody's standing there, and everybody's like, and you're just finding this out now? And I'm like, yes, it's just like, that is this track. Listen to it. It's Audio 11. I'm playing it. So I had these moments with these guys, and they were super professional, and they literally, they had a really good concept, and they got everything out of me. It was a pretty great experience that we had in the beginning of December, and it got way bigger than we expected, because it ended up being like, I think it ends up being like 6 hours of footage. And over 30 chapters, and including a mini documentary. We went to like the clubs, where the clubs used to be, and I tell stories about each club. We went to IQ Hard House office in Offenbach, where still the Logic Records sign is hanging there, and all that stuff. It was such a super interesting experience, and I think also the guys who made the masterclass were kind of like surprised by how well this all came together, and normally we were just like, yeah, we'll just first cut it together, and they were all, the week later they already texted me, it's like, hey, we already got some stuff together, we can start promoting this, because this is so much stuff, this is really good. So I'm really happy with that.
Great.
It's great.
Good. Yeah,
Was Hard House under Logic, or what was the connection?
It was the same building. Logic Records was part of Sony.
Yeah.
And
That wasn't Low Spirit was West Spam's label.
No, Low Spirit was in Berlin. That had nothing to do with it.
Okay, that had nothing to do with you guys.
Logic Record. Mark Spoon was part-time A&R
That's
of
right.
Logic Records back in the day, and DJ Doug, with all this Indian tribal trance was big on.
Low Spirit reminds me of Marusha.
Yeah, Low Spirit is Marusha, that's right. But that was the Berlin fraction, and Logic was the Frankfurt, backed by Sony major fraction, and it was the same building where Hard House IQ had basically their offices, where I was working in '95.
Wow.
Look, remember DJ Dick's Weekend? What a record that was.
Oh wow! DJ Dick is actually West Bam's brother.
Yeah?
Yeah.
West Spam.
A little trivia at the end, guys. We had a 3-hour show today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
Well,
times.
I just had dinner with Sven in Ibiza a few nights ago, so hopefully we can have him on to talk about the old times.
How was that?
Definitely.
How is he doing? Tell us a little bit of that little gossip here.
Great. Sven is he puts a positive spin on everything. He's just waiting, He's turned a lot of things down. He's just kind of like all of us, just waiting patiently to resume, because he really believes in that personal interaction,
And I think he has a nice spot on Ibiza where waiting it out is actually a nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a nice fireplace you guys were eating in front of.
That was a restaurant, dude.
Oh, I was like, dang.
Hey, Ollie, I've been meaning to ask you what's going on behind you back there. I've been seeing it for months. Is that like is that like a dish cabinet where you store?
This is so I've been collecting. I'm like obsessed with ceramics, especially Japanese ceramics.
Nice.
And I've
Can
been
you show us some?
in my travels throughout Japan over the last 25 years. I've been like collecting ceramics, but outside of that, I finally have a place to put it all. But outside of that, I collect like weird shit. Like, I guess you could call this a ceramic. It's like a mug.
Whoa.
Wow.
Little zombie.
Yeah, like a lot
That's
of
a happy good morning mug.
I'm not feeling too good today.
I took a ceramics class in high
In the
school.
mood.
This is a H.R. Geiger.
Oh yeah, the
Everyone
alien.
knows.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Is that
This
glass or
Alien
is that ceramic
Bambi.
too?
I got this before he died, actually, like a couple years before he died.
Wow.
I actually have an original H.R. Geiger piece too, as well. I gotta show that to you.
More
sometime.
mugs.
That's nice.
You do? Yeah. This is the only HR. I've always wanted to own an HR Geiger. I remember when, I don't know if you guys ever went to the Limelight in New York when they had the Geiger room.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
And for people watching, H.R. Geiger was the guy that kind of created the alien from the Aliens movie, the look and feel of like the whole alien landscape, including the alien.
The Swiss
And
artist.
at the Limelight during its heyday in New York, they had the Geiger room,
Right.
and they had like a lot of his art in that room, and it was the most insane thing you've ever seen in your life. They had like his chair, the table, the entire room was outfitted with his art, his sculptures and stuff like that. And
Yeah, he's an insane artist. Absolutely crazy. He also worked with Alejandro Jodorowsky on the Dune movie.
he worked with on those early sketches of Dune,
Which I think Ridley Scott got his hands on, and that's why he did Alien.
Yeah.
exactly. That's a great documentary for anyone that's curious about. Yeah. So guys, it's been real.
2021 mug.
Cheers, y'all.
My
Good to see
coffee.
y'all.
Stay positive. Stay safe.
2 DJs and beers in 2021.
Yeah. Who do we have next week?
We have Kevin Key of Skinny Puppy.
Skinny Puppy.
Kevin Key of Skinny Puppy.
Cool.
Right on.
Gonna have to get ready for this one.
Yeah. Do your homework, guys.
Well,
Prep.
we are ready.
Oh, yes.
All right, guys. Peace out.
Good night, guys.
All right,
Thanks
guys.
for everyone.
Justin, thanks for coming on.
Oh yeah.
thanks,
Thanks for
Justin.
having me.
Thank you.
Thanks, dude.
See. Talk to you guys.
Cheers.
Stay positive, everyone.
Stay positive, everyone out there too.
We're halfway there.
Hopefully.
Whatever halfway is.
Peace.
We're at the halfway point.
Good night.
Cheers. Good night.